Advisor on Health and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, to join you for the first photo op.
As we are done, also we are inviting all the permanent secretaries in Lagos State to join the executive governor, actors from the Federal Ministry of Health, all the directors that have accompanied the Minister of State for Health, all the directors in the Federal Ministry.
The Nigerian National Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, was created in 1997 and backed by Act 2019 to enable the federal government of Nigeria through Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation actualize its critical and strategic mandates to research, develop, document, preserve, conserve, and promote Nigeria's natural medicine defined as indigenous medicine. 4 Director Generals had steered the affairs of the agency since its creation 28 years ago. A new vista, however, opened in the history of the existence of the agency when Martins Emeje, a distinguished pharmacist and professor of nanotechnology, was appointed as the 5th Director General and Chief Executive Officer in May 2023. Before taking on the mantle of leadership at the NNMDA, Professor Martins Emeje was the Chair R&D at the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, with many feats on drug formulation and R&D results to his credit.
I deliberately applied for this job. There was advertisement. I applied. I wrote the exam. It was an online exam. Nobody saw anybody. And 1 hour exam online. When you submit your answer sheet, you have a copy of the answer sheet that you have. So I have the copy of the answer that I submitted online that day. And that is my manifesto. So every month, every month, I look at the answers that I submitted, and it guides me in the work that I do. As a researcher and proudly the first and only research fellow in Nigeria who is heading a research institute, I know exactly the problems of R&D in Nigeria, because nobody in Nigeria has or is currently heading a research institute, and he went through the rank and file from being a trainee researcher to an intern researcher, an NYSC researcher, and then a research professor. This is the background that I have.
Call him a round peg in a round hole, and you won't be wrong, as he hit the ground running, leaving a lot of innovations on his trail, achieving great strides in the areas of education, agriculture, and health, thereby raising the bar in R&D in natural medicine for the agency. From May 2023, when he was appointed, within just a few months, 4 oral solid dosage formulation products were unveiled.
My greatest moment actually happened on 8th of March 2024, when the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Naji, came to Lagos in the campus of NNMDA here to launch 4 oral solid dosage forms. It was not just the first time it was happening in NNMDA, the very first time it was happening in Nigeria. We decided that we will go for education as a major target, as a major KPI. And we went for it aggressively and got accreditation to start a 2-year national diploma in natural medicine. So this agency, for the first time in Nigeria, we now have a school of natural medicine. It's never been heard before. It happened in this administration within these 2 years. Within these 2 years too, because the country saw that we had made explosive advancement in this area, we got upgraded to what we call an awarding body for national skills acquisition in traditional medicine. One of the best medicinal gardens that you can find in Africa right now is in this country, owned by the Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency, and we did this these 2 years. In fact, two of our products that is waiting for Mr. President launch was we got our raw materials from our Nasarawa State Farm in Karo. Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava in the world. Cassava. The only country that competes with Nigeria is Brazil. Yet, Nigeria does not have value-added cassava products. Yet, Nigeria imports starch to make pharmaceutical products. We made a presentation to the National Assembly, and the Senate of our National Assembly supported us. So we went into development of pharmaceutical grade starch. Today, we have pharmaceutical grade starch. In health itself, we have developed and submitted to NAFDAC about 23 different products. 23. And they are all at advanced stage of NAFDAC's regulatory assessment at this point. Now, 3 of such products plus 5 of what we did the previous years is available, and people, because we are a research institution not capacitated or competent by reason of mandate and skilling to do marketing, we do proof of concept, and we wait for entrepreneurs of pharmaceutical industries, nutraceutical industries, food industries to come take them to the market, right? But we also owe, because, like I said, the huge component of the Renewed Hope agenda is that people should be attended to, so that they know that they cannot lose their hope completely in their country. So in this environment, anybody who wants drug for hypertension, for malaria, for erectile dysfunction, for arthritis, for diabetes, for hepatitis, for in about at least 8 different disease areas. They come to our pharmacy here to get the drugs.
The past 2 years, under the leadership of Professor Martins Emeje, has seen human capacity development like never before. A development that propelled the agency's researchers into breaking new ground.
This agency had never, in its almost 30 years of existence, had never participated in any local conference where researchers went with work they did in their own laboratory to go make competitive presentation. In our maiden outing, in these 2 years, we won 2 awards. We went out for the first time and we got 2 awards. We took first position and we took third position. That is gold and bronze. When I came, I met researchers that have been here working for 15 years but with 1 degree. And I told them, you can't be a researcher with 1 degree. So I embarked on rigorous and aggressive drive to partner and collaborate with investors. So we went into that. Today, as I'm talking to you, we have at least 13 researchers and of the agency that are doing different postgraduate studies in different universities in Nigeria. I have a staff that was in Zimbabwe for 6 months. Now he has a master's in intellectual property. At least 7 of my staff have gone to India.
Quality assurance has been one of the top priorities of the NNMDA Director General and the accreditation of the agency's laboratory and product development unit for pharmacy internship program by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria a year ago. Under the watch of Professor Martins Emeje, the agency recently graduated its pioneer pharmacy interns.
I went into nanotechnology or nanosciences after PhD, and I had to go out of the country to train in this area for more than 4 years. So it's an area that I'm keen about. I'm one of the first people, if not the first, in Nigeria to have put in practice nanotechnology. What it has done to me as someone who studied Western pharmacy, which is more like macro study, it is that it has taught me how to manage resources, no matter how simple.
The last 2 years has seen NNMDA signing important memoranda of understanding with reputable academic institutions and other critical stakeholders in the areas of training and laboratory services to Nigerian universities. As part of its advocacy and public enlightenment drive, the agency brought together critical stakeholders in the nation's natural medicine space for a national dialogue on rethinking natural medicine aimed at galvanizing the needed support and political will.
I want the president of Nigeria to just be coming on television and saying that people, natural medicine, no other thing. Natural medicine, let's do our own. Let's do our own. Let him just be saying it. Anytime he's talking to press, let him say it. Because once people know that this is where the president is, this is where his mind is, this is what his body language is, they will start investing in natural medicine.
A turning point for the agency was the resolution of the National Assembly on Natural Medicine Gazette. The visit by the chairman, House Committee on Legislative Compliance, was a further demonstration of the renewed impetus.
We cannot have 160 million people subscribing to something, and then the remaining 40 million people, you now want to say that foreign medicine, what we call allopathic medicine, that is the superior to our natural medicine. No, it's not. So when the House of Representatives passed that resolution, I told myself, I have now achieved. So what I was thinking would take me 4 years to achieve. Actually, we got it done in 2 years. And is one of the, so our target has actually increased. The best place to actually functionalize or operationalize Renew Hope agenda, Mr. President, is in the health sector. It's in the health sector. And I always tell people, 2 things that if you have security in it, then you are safe. Food and medicine. Any intervention, any project that we do, that it is not about developing our own indigenous resources, is short-term. It's not sustainable. The only sustainable form of development is indigenous development. So anybody who wants to give me support now, I will just tell you what I want. For example, I want all my staff to live in this compound. If you go to other countries of the world, all these staff of the research institution, they live inside the compound.
Inspiring a new mindset among staff and attitude to work, for the NNMDA Director General, the task of achieving the mandate and the vision of the agency is work in progress.
The Eyo Festival, also known as the Adamu Orisha, is a traditional Yoruba festival unique to Lagos Island in Lagos State, the center of excellence. It is one of the most iconic cultural events in Lagos and serves as both a spiritual ceremony and a public spectacle. Eyo dates back to the 19th century, though original traditions suggest its origin may be older. It began as a rite of passage for the transition of a diseased Oba or High Chief in Lagos. In today's special report, Bayo Olaoye traces the antecedent and the genesis of this renowned cultural event. The first recorded Eyo festival was held in 1854 to commemorate the passing of Oba Akintoye. Over time, it also became a celebration for the installation of a new Oba or to honor prominent Lagosians. The Eyo festival is rooted in Yoruba religion and spiritual practices, specifically those of the Orisha cult. It is particularly associated with the Adamu Orisha, a deity representing ancestors and spiritual guardians. The Eyo festival is essentially a masquerade festival. The masqueraders are called Eyo, and each represents a spirit of the ancestors. These Eyo figures are customized in flowing white robes with large hats and face coverings. They carry opas, known as batons or staff, used to generally discipline those who break festival rules. The Eyo festival can also be described as a spiritual cleansing of the land and people and used to escort the soul of a deceased noble into the afterlife. It invokes blessings and peace for the community, purges the city of evil spirit and misfortunes. The festival is organized by 5 major Eyo groups or Igas, also known as palaces, each with its own color and significance. Eyo Adimu, black, is housed in Iga Adimu. Eyo Laba, which is recognized by its red color, has Iga Idungoron as its palace, while Eyo Uniku, renowned for its yellow color, stays at Iga Uniku. Iga Ologede, with its green color, will reside at Iga Ologede, and Eyo Agere, with its purple color, stays at Iga Agere. The main day of the festival is called Oye Day, which falls on Saturday. Prior to this, there are several rituals leading to the Akoko Day, where announcements are made and various traditional rites are performed. What are the rules, regulations, and etiquettes? During the festival, what are the do's and don'ts? During the festival, certain items and behaviors are prohibited, such as wearing of sandals and shoes, since everyone goes barefoot during this period. Also prohibited is the use of motorcycles and bicycles, while public smoking is not allowed, as well as the wearing of hats and caps. Violators are often corrected gently with the okpa by the Eyo. What about the modern evolution of Eyo Festival as a potential for tourism development? While originally a sacred rite, the Eyo Festival has become a major cultural attraction, prominently showcased during Nigeria's independence celebration in 1960, and in subsequent years, it has been used to honor dignitaries and promote the heritage of Lagos. It does not occur annually, but rather on special occasions, often at the discretion of the Lagos monarch or Bar of Lagos as the custodian of the tradition. The festival combines ritual, theater, music, and community spectacle, and it is often considered a precursor to the modern Nigerian carnival. The Eyo Festival has inspired modern performances and literature in Nigeria and reflects the depth of Yoruba spirituality, the importance of ancestors, and the interplay between tradition and modernity. Olumide Shokoya reporting for Souqnews TV.
That we should relax and enjoy every minute of the program, of the conference. We have a lot of things. We have also would like to recognize the presence of the chairperson of today, in person of Maureen Ken George Taylor. She's the president, Restaurant, Cakes, Bars, and Clubs Association. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. We also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Lucas Rahim, who is the director, SIR&D, Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Also in our midst is Engineer Greg Ashibu. He's the chairman, GK Foundation and Grashi Global Foundation. You're welcome, sir. Please a round of applause for him, please. He has been a supporter of Mr. Razak's work. Thank you so very much. You're welcome, sir. We also like to recognize the presence of Engineer Oyatoye, who is the Director, Policy Research and Development, Lagos State Safety Commission. Thank you for coming, sir. We appreciate your presence. Thank you. Representing the DG of NAFDAC in our midst is Dr. Ifeoma Okapo. A round of applause. Thank you so very much for coming. We appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. We also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Oluwole Ogundele, who is the guest speaker. Thank you so very much for gracing this occasion. We are elated to have you around. Also in our midst today Souq is also a guest speaker today. A round of applause.
To be the one that convened this maiden edition of Restaurant Managers Conference, it is my utmost pleasure to welcome you all to this occasion. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for taking your time to join us today. Your presence here is a testament to the commitment to excellence in the restaurant and hospitality industry. Together, we gather under the theme, elevating the art of restaurant management, innovation, sustainability, and excellence. The theme reflects our shared passion for advancing the restaurant industry and our dedication to staying ahead of the curve in terms of innovation, sustainability, and excellence. And as we navigate the complexity of the modern restaurant landscape, it is imperative that we prioritize these three pillars: innovation, sustainability, and excellence, which will form the foundation of our discussions today as we explore the cutting-edge strategies, best practices, and innovative solutions to drive success in our industry. We have assembled impressive lineup of speakers, including our keynote speaker, my own mama, Mrs. Bose Aye, the founder of Analyses PSC. Please help me to clap for her. She is also the past president of Restaurant and Food Services Providers Association of Nigeria. And another motivator, the president of the Restaurant, Cafe, Bars and Clubs Association, who is the chairperson of today's occasion, to guide through this conference proceeding. I'm equally happy to have the Deputy Managing Director of Street Sensation Confectionery and the host of others. I was happy when we wrote letters to the DG of NAFDAC and I said, we are going to be there. So, this year, Dr. Okafor, I'm happy that you are here. God will bless all of us. Throughout the day, you'll be treated to insightful presentations, engaging discussion with our special guests, eminent speakers, AI experts, social media marketing specialists, financial gurus, regulators, industry leaders, and many more valuable networking opportunities for us. Throughout the day, we will explore the latest trends, best practices, and innovative solutions that are shaping the restaurant industry. As Hospitality Care Company, we are dedicated to empowering restaurant professionals with knowledge, skills, and expertise required to excel in our increasingly competitive market. And this conference is a testament to our excellence to elevate the art of restaurant management. The conference is designed to provide a platform for restaurant managers, operators, and industry professionals to come together to inspire, educate, and empower you with the tools and insights necessary to excel in this dynamic and competitive industry. I would like to acknowledge the support of our sponsors, partners, and collaborators who have made this conference possible. Your contributions are invaluable, and we are grateful for your commitment to the growth and development of the restaurant industry. Equally, I would like to acknowledge the tireless effort of our team, who have worked diligently to bring this conference to life. Your hard work and dedication are truly appreciated. Without much ado, the MC has said we need to engage ourselves fully, ask questions, and share our perspective. And we're ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and enjoy the company of your peers at this Restaurant Managers Conference 2005. So let us work together to elevate the art of restaurant management and take our industry to the next and enviable height. Once again, I want to appreciate you, and I know by the end of the day, we are not going to leave on getting good health. And at the end of the day, our return on investment is not going to be a waste of time. Thank you once again.
Leaders, esteemed colleagues, and all participants, it is my great pleasure about experiences, innovation, and economic transformation. With Nigeria's growing population and increasing demand for quality services, we must continue to evolve and expand our industry's potential. This conference is an essential platform for sharing best practices, discussing industry challenges, and exploring emerging trends such as digital transformation, AI, sustainability, customer experience enhancement, and food safety. It is through collaboration and knowledge sharing that we can stay ahead in this competitive landscape and ensure our businesses thrive in an ever-changing world. The RCBC Association is dedicated to uniting industry players, advocating for policies that support business growth, and providing resources to help our members excel. By joining our association, participants have always had access to valuable networking opportunities, training programs, and strategic partnerships. That's one of the reasons we're excited to partner on this particular conference. With that in mind, I encourage every person here to actively participate in the discussions, share your insights, and take full advantage of this event. It is now my honor to declare this event officially open. Thank you. I have just a few more things to say before I hand over the microphone. So my question one more time is, did I get my slides up or will I be winging it? Can you see my slides? Thank you, it's okay, don't worry. So this is supposed to be a little bit interactive, right? It's a managers conference, and I always have something to say to managers. So do we have any managers here? Can you wave your hands? If you are in a managerial or supervisory position, can you wave your hands, please? Fantastic, thank you. So I think I'm in the right room. I wasn't sure when anybody raised their hand at first. Okay, so I want to ask a question. Who is a manager? Someone should help me, please. Who is a manager? Who is a manager? Anyone can take the answer. If nobody gives an answer, it's you that needs to answer. Who is the manager? Who is the manager? I have my team complete 5 times, so don't worry. I came prepared. It's called start with your why. You are standing in a position and you have an opportunity to improve your life and improve the lives of those around you. You impact people's lives. Someone that wants to propose to their girlfriend and wants to get married, you will be part of their life experience forever, just by being a manager in a restaurant or in a food establishment. So it's such a critical role that if you are occupying it, you need to understand what role am I in. And from my own organization, not only did I invite managers, I invited supervisors that want to be managers. Because when you aspire towards a position, you need to know what that position is going to be. Okay, let's assume we know what a manager is now. What does an effective manager do? So can I have just a few contributions? What does an effective manager do? Yes, please.
Effective manager will lead by example.
Lead by, give a round of applause. I am in the right room. I think I'm in the right room. I'm starting to feel like I'm in the right room. Another answer, please.
As an effective manager, first you need to work on yourself because you can't give.
A manager must work on themselves. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the book 21 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And there's a law called the law of the lead, meaning that you will only lead people up to where your capacity is. Once your capacity is here, you're not going to lead anyone above that. So working on yourself is critical. Please give me a round of applause. And then I've got one answer because my time is limited. What does an effective manager do?
An effective manager must be proactive.
Thank you. I like that word, proactive. Let's please give me a round of applause. I spelled out a few things I think that a good manager should be able to have under their sleeve. And I'm just going to take just about 2-3 minutes and I'm going to get off the stage. Don't worry. So I have here, you must be hospitable. I call it the spirit of hospitality. If you don't have the spirit of hospitality, what are you doing here? Why are you a manager? Hospitality is such a critical spirit that it influences you. misstated. A good manager must be meticulous. Because sometimes, staff are very tricky. They will tell you that they clean the place, they will clean only the top. When you now go and lift it up, you now notice that this cleaner did not clean the bottom of this place. How are you going to ensure that the right thing is done if you're not meticulous? We're almost done. A good manager must be intentional. You must decide that you have decided that you're going to be good at what you do, you're going to be among the best. Really and truly, I am for women empowerment. And I do specifically love coaching women to stand out. Because for a woman to have an opportunity, she usually must be 10 times better than a man. So if it's a man that's pretty good, people will just say, oh, let us give that opportunity. But before they give a woman an opportunity to become a CEO or a CEO, you will see her CV. Her CV is double the CV of the man that equally holds a position. Please give women a round of applause. Okay, the men are happy. Give all of themselves a round of applause. A good manager must be a good example. And finally, practice servant leadership. I want you, as you attend this conference, to pick up a few things and decide, what will I do differently following this conference? Maybe I missed something. Before I close up my own way, does anyone want to add anything else that they think a good manager should be? Any other comments? Thank you, ma'am.
Good teamwork and good communication.
Give my round of applause! There's no I in team. If you are not a team player, why are you a manager? You can't do everything yourself. You must be given division of labor. And that's why I asked all of you to join me with my presentation this morning by asking questions. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope that this conference will be as impactful for you as it is for me. Thank you. Audit, compliance, learning and development, and strategic business management. She currently serves as Deputy Managing Director and Executive Director at Sweet Sensation, a pioneering quick service restaurant, QSR.
I know that there's a team of people who support him, who coach him, who help him, who partner with him. So I want to also take time to acknowledge and recognize them. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. Special thank you to the distinguished speakers and guests. I also stand on all existing protocol, but even with that, I cannot but honor Mrs. Bolayeni, who's here. Mrs. Bolayeni, the founder of Analyses and pioneer in the industry. Thank you for your continued support of the industry. It's also lovely to meet the chairperson of RCDC, an organization I belong to as well. So welcome. Thank you. Again, I don't follow my NAFDAC people. I will get in trouble. So well done, man. Thank you for all you got, NAFDAC. Thank you. Making sure that food is safe and that people can live quality lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Before I dive into my very, very brief speech, I must honor my mother, Lady Dame Kende Hampson, the founder and CEO of Sweet Sensation. Also, the chairperson of Restaurant. I'm grateful for the organization she built because it's given me a platform, it's given various people a platform to lead, to inspire others. So she's not able to be here, but I bring lovely greetings from her to everyone here. Okay, so I've been asked to give a very, very short welcome speech, or I think it's opening the short speech by special guest. And this topic, elevating the art of restaurant management, innovation, sustainability, and excellence, is so relevant. So I want to start by just saying, this topic is so relevant to our industry. Anyone who's been in an industry for a few years knows how important these topics are. The industry is shifting rapidly. Things are changing so fast. Sometimes you understand your consumers, sometimes you don't even understand them anymore. Technology is reshaping how things happen, and things are moving at a fast speed. So I'm so grateful to be part of a conference that recognizes the importance of these topics and brings people together to learn about these topics. Sustainability is no longer just a buzzword, it is a business imperative. How can we make sure that the organization not just survives, but thrives and can be sustainable for years to come? And I'm really grateful that we have the opportunity to learn about that at this conference. So, for those who are here, whether you sponsored yourself to come here or whether your company has funded you, I want to really encourage you to listen. The ability to invest in yourself, to come for conferences, for trainings, it's a powerful investment in yourself. My team who's here, hi team, they know that we talk about growth a lot. Any investment in yourself, whether it's training, conferences, networking, learning from others, at the end of the day, it's a powerful investment in yourself. And as you grow, you can also inspire other people to grow as well. So please be open-minded, please listen, please take notes, network with your peers or colleagues or people who you admire within the industry. But please make sure you learn, make sure when you go back to your companies, you're teaching others as well, others who couldn't be here, and then you're allowing others to grow as you grow yourself. So thank you again to everyone. Welcome to the conference, and thank you again to the convener for the opportunity to be here.
Let's clap for you who is not here. Good message from the Special Advisor to the President of Capacity Development. As the Special Advisor to the President of Capacity Development, I'm honored to extend warm greetings to all attendees of this prestigious Restaurant Managers Conference. This gathering is a powerful reflection of our collective commitment to the growth of our hospitality sector, an area that the President deeply values. His administration recognizes that capacity development is not merely a strategic initiative. It is a cornerstone of our national vision for economic diversification and sustainable development. The President is genuinely interested in empowering our workforce, as he understands that the success of our industries rests upon the skills and dedication of our people. The hospitality industry is an integral to Nigeria's economy, playing a vital role in job creation, cultural exchange, and promotion of our rich heritage. By fostering a thriving restaurant sector, we contribute to the broader narrative of national pride and economic resilience. The President believes that by investing in the training and development of our hospitality professionals, we are not only enhancing service standards, but also positioning Nigeria as a premium destination for culinary experience and global tourism. As we look to the future, our administration is committed to organizing more training programs and conferences that will empower our hospitality professionals, and conferences like this is one of those things. We envision a collaborative framework where industry leaders, government, and educational institutions work hand in hand to cultivate a workforce that is not only skilled, but also innovative and adaptable to the evolving landscape of our hospitality industry. Thank you for your participation and for your vital contribution to this essential sector. Together, we will build a robust and dynamic hospitality industry that meets the diverse needs of our citizens and visitors alike. Honorable Souq Rabi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm highly privileged to be here. You imagine what this young lady here is doing. I'm particularly excited for this opportunity to stand in this capacity for Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, especially where I represent as the chief servant. You know, that name chairman is just a name. They're actually the chief servant of the institute, and I'm privileged to be doing that because the Institute of Food Science and Technology has raised me be a confident person and to be able to add value to the society. And I think that's the beauty of life. That life is not just who you are, but those you are also able to raise. And so, anywhere I have the opportunity to speak, I always give that credit to my mentors, my several mentors who are now fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Particularly, let me congratulate Mr. Razak, our own food evangelist. We call him Mr. Food. He has several names. He has several names. I have my Google message, but I don't feel like speaking to us. Mr. Razak is a blessing to us in the Institute, and we are praying for him. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what God is about to use him to do in Nigeria and beyond that in the world. And so I'm happy to witness this maiden edition of the Restaurant Managers Conference. This is a great one. Please can you give yourself rounds of applause. I'm particularly excited because just yesterday I was privileged to train bakery and pastry staffs, in a big conglomerate when it comes to confectionaries in Lagos, Ogun, and some states at Shagam Axis yesterday. And one of the things I told them is that as leaders, as managers, you are the team leader. It is not just what you tell your staff, it is what they see you do. The best of food safety management system will not fly if it does not start and end at your table. If the staff need PPEs, you are not providing it, what more can they do? If you can enter the processing floor without doing the needful, then we have not shown them the right example. And so as restaurant managers, as supervisors, when it comes to anything food processing, you are at the center and you must do what is right. And if it is not safe, it is not food. If people buy your products and they come down with gastroenteritis, then there won't be a repeat purchase. And that's the truth. And so that means they are losing trust in your brand. So for you to build trust in every bite, like one of my friends who is also a food safety trainer here would say, then you have to do the right thing. And so we are here, that's why we are all here. To learn, to unlearn, and relearn. And I'm sure you'll get the best from this conference. So this is just the beginning. I wish you all greater and bigger opportunities to learn and shape the Nigerian economy and ensure food security in Nigeria. So you are all welcome. Mr. Razak, congratulations. You are a brother and you made a brother who will to support all that you do. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Don't worry, I'm coming back with the lecture on council.
Everybody, and I belong to nobody. So as not to miss out anybody. All protocols duly observed. Mr. Razak, we are here now. You will not understand the meaning of that statement. My name is Today. I'm the Executive Secretary of Restaurant and Food Services Providers Association of Nigeria, RESPAN. I'm representing, or rather I'm standing in for the President of the Association, the 10-day campaign, ably represented by the DMP of Sensation Confectionaries, Mrs. Sayo Baba. I said, Mr. Razak, we are here now. Almost around this time, November, we met here for a function. And this was the place that Mr. Razak informed me about this program, November. And since November till January, he kept calling and calling and calling and calling. I'm not like, this program is in March. You started bugging me November, December, January. Calm down, Razak. Through January, February, you would think I'm the one in custody of his kidney. At the time, I have to ask myself, I'm not holding this man's kidney now. Why is he disturbing me? And eventually, I picked this call February, and I told you, I know. You sent in every necessary notes. December, be rest assured, we will call. Since I'm not hearing from you, I'm not, getting any feedback. I'm like, the program is we will come. So, Mr. Razak, I say again, we are here. Thank you. Now, Restaurant and Food Service Proprietors Association of Nigeria, we're a non-partisan, non-profit making organization established with the aim of protecting the interests of our members in their dealings with regulatory bodies and regulatory agencies. Like the moderator mentioned, that was then. I can give you the assurance that you enter into any of our member restaurants, you will be served quality, not just quantity, quality hot sizzling meals that you will like. Formerly, we used to the Association of Fast Food Confectioners of Nigeria, AFCON. And we tried getting more members. We approached the fine dining restaurant and they're like, no. You guys are Association of Fast Food Confectioners and you know the mentality when it comes to fast food. They believe it's all about junk. And mind you, our logo is there. It used to be Eat AFCON, Eat Safety. They're not like, we are saying eat fast food, eat safety. Isn't that a contradiction somehow? But we ask ourselves, and you also need to ask too. You walk into a tantalizer outlet, you walk into a sweet sensation outlet, you walk into a labule outlet, you walk into a TFC outlet, and you get to be served a big item. You have pottage, you have jollof rice, you have fried rice, you have a foil, you have pounded yam. Are these fast food? No. So that is the reason why we decided to change the name and reorientate that conception that we have regarding AFCON. We now became Restaurant and Fast Food Proprietors Association of Nigeria. And our motto still remains, eat restaurant, eat safety. You can be rest assured that any meal you are eating from our member outlet is safe and is okay. Elevating the art of restaurant management, innovation, sustainability, and excellence. I want to give you the utmost assurance that the keynote speaker for today is someone who is not just a person, but a voice when it comes to restaurant business in Nigeria. Quote me anywhere. When it comes to restaurant business in Nigeria, the person of Mrs. Bossa Ayede. She happens to be the restaurant sole representative, myself as well, with the Nigeria Economic Study Group, whereby, the foundation, the program, the roadmap for the new agenda regarding hospitality in Nigeria is being put together. And she was being given an award for her participation, her full involvement and participation in this program, designed by the Honorable Minister for tourism, art and culture. So, like the MC said, speaker before me said, please relax or learn, relearn, because we are here for a whole lot of robotic lecturing, teaching, and the rest. And every other guest speakers that are taking the sections today, you can be rest assured, yes, they are sound. Mr. Razak, count on us as an able and ready-made partners for this program going forward. Thank you. God bless you all.
My name is Souq, that is Solar Rahim. I look at Souq. I'm standing here for my general manager, Abolade Esquire. Let me start by congratulating the organizers of this auspicious program that is going to be highly educative. I can see that. Because the Consumer Protection Agency was actually established in 2015 by Lagos State Consumer Protection Law to ensure that consumers in Lagos State get value for money spent on either goods and services. And also to ensure that Lagosians are protected from hazardous products and also protect them against unfair practices. So these are our core mandates. Going back to this event, which is about food safety, I know the keynote speakers are going to do justice to their topic. So in order not to preempt it, I don't think I have the knowledge to do that. So I would just want to mention some brief issues in the kitchen area from the experience we've had over the years as an agency. This restaurant operation involves handling, preparation, and storage of food. So those are the key areas we want the operators and managers to look into, to look to the improvement on these three areas. Also, while preparing food for consumers, they should try as much as possible to avoid cross-contamination and food spoilage, so on and so forth. But the area I want to really dwell on is service, how consumers are treated on and off the restaurants. So the first point of contact for every consumer or every customer in the restaurant is the on-the-spot service, how they are received. So I want to say that since the managers are here, over the years, most of the complaints we attended to in the agency has to do with how consumers are received. Not necessarily bad food or bad meal. So I want us to look into that, and possibly our speakers should help us to address that. Then, apart from all the sports services, when I buy food in the restaurant, possibly I take it away, and I get home, I realize that what I bought is not what I actually want, or I detect. In some cases, we have seen somebody bought food and saw a fly in the food. You cannot rule that out. So now, why trying to reach out to the restaurant? The person at the other hand fail to do justice or to attend to the complaint queue. So I want us to, apart from putting somebody that is correct, I think that is the most practice. We put somebody that can speak well. Not that. We should endeavor to ensure that the person at the other hand knows well about the business. He can answer questions, treat issue on the spot. And if the person that is receiving complaint by His Excellency Mr. Governor, to that empowers the agency to seal all premises without referring to the court. Initially, we have to go to the court to seek for a seal order. So I'm not saying that we are out to, like my general manager would say, allow business to thrive in Lagos. We are not out to destroy businesses, but then we are not going to lose our focus, which is to ensure that consumers in the state are protected. We are all consumers. So this is a very big opportunity for everyone here, both managers, the operators, and of course all of us are consumers, to ensure that we improve on the service delivery in our restaurants. To round up, like we always say, consumers in Lagos State are kings. So I want to enjoy all of us here. We always treat consumers as kings. That is the message from my general manager, Afolabi Shileko Esquire. Thank you, and God bless you.
The distinguished guests, esteemed restaurant manager, industry, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to extend warm greeting to you all on behalf of the Lagos State Safety Commission at this prestigious gathering, the Restaurant Manager Conference. I commend the organizers for selecting such a crucial and forward-thinking team, elevating the heart of restaurant management, innovation, sustainability, and excellence. The hospitality industry, particularly the restaurant sector, plays a vital role in the economic and social fabric of Lagos State. As a hub of diverse culinary experiences and a key driver of tourism, restaurants are more than just places to eat. They are spaces of creativity, culture, and commerce. However, ensuring safety, sustainability, and operational excellence is paramount to their continued growth and success. At the Lagos State Safety Commission, our mission is to promote a safe, secure, and sustainable environment for businesses and residents alike. We recognize that innovation in restaurant management goes beyond culinary creativity. It also involves embracing modern practices and adhering to health regulations and implementing sustainable business models that protect both people and the environment. Sustainability in the restaurant industry is no longer an option, it is a necessity. From responsible waste management and energy efficiency to ethical sourcing and consumer well-being, sustainable practices contribute to business longevity and environmental preservation. I urge all restaurant managers to adopt best practices that align with global standards while enhancing customer experience and food safety. Excellence in restaurant management is achieved through continuous learning, strategic leadership, and a commitment to quality. As you deliberate on strategies to elevate your businesses, I encourage you to prioritize staff training, adopt digital innovation, and maintain compliance with regulatory standards to ensure the safety of both the employee and patrons. Lagos State remains committed to supporting businesses through policies that foster growth while ensuring public safety. Lagos State Safety Commission will continue to work collaboratively with stakeholders in the hospitality industry to uphold safety regulations and promote a thriving, resilient, and innovative restaurant sector. Once again, I applaud the organizers of this conference for creating a platform to discuss these vital issues. I wish you all exciting deliberations and successful outcome that will drive the restaurant industry towards greater heights. Thank you. May this conference inspire transformative ideas for a safer, more sustainable, and more excellent restaurant industry in Lagos. Director General, Lagos State Safety Commission, Mr. Larry Mojala.
Thank you very much. That was very well said. Very well said. I actually don't know what it means. I recognize everybody that is here, and I have not addressed you in person, it's not that slight, but I think we are beginning to look at the time to see how we can manage our time. I welcome you all to this year's edition, and what's not happened before from what I heard today looks like this is the main one. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I welcome you to this conference, and let me start by again joining everybody to salute the doggedness and the passion of the convener, Mr. Razak. Okay. They have described it many ways. I used to know him as a foodpreneur, but I've heard today that he's actually a food evangelist. Whatever name we call him, and what thing we can't take away from him is his passion for this industry. This avenue that he has provided for us today, where we as restaurant operators gather together to share and to sharpen our knowledge, is a major gap that he sees in our industry that he's trying to fill.
I congratulate you on your achievements so far and all the people that have worked with you. And I wish you success in your future endeavors. I'm excited to be here, and I count it as an honor to be called upon to share with you from my limited knowledge and experience, and also to learn from the different experts that have been put together, that have been invited to help deepen our knowledge in specific areas of restaurant operations today. The theme of our conference, as we have heard over and over again today, is elevating the art of restaurant management through innovation, sustainability, and excellence. I will start by talking a little bit about our industry. The Nigerian food service market is estimated to be about $10 billion and growing. About half of this market is held by the quick service restaurants, while the other half is shared by casual dining, fine dining, cafes, and the cloud kitchen industry that is not only large, but also has a great potential for growth. As restaurant managers, do you see yourself as of today in this huge market that I've just described? Do you see yourself as a tiny drop, like a pinpoint? Or do you see yourself as a significant player in this big industry? Wherever you think you are, one of the things that you should begin to think about from today is how can you increase your portion of this large market that I've just described. The restaurant industry itself has changed rapidly in the last 5 to 10 years. From the imposing brick and mortar structure days, where the idea of social entertainment was limited to visiting fast food restaurants, to today, where the customer would rather be in the comfort of his home and just get his food delivered. Pop-up stores, food trucks, or sometimes you see them as food cars, are becoming a trend in urban and densely populated areas of our country. These are beginning to account for a good portion of the restaurant, of the revenue of this industry. How then do we ensure that as restaurant managers, we also get a significant portion of this growing pie? Our industry is not without its own share of challenges operating in an environment such as ours in Nigeria. These challenges, which cannot be underestimated, range from rising costs, multiple taxation from different tiers of government, poor infrastructure, strong and formidable competition, manpower skills shortage, and to changing consumer preferences. How do we then, as restaurant managers and restaurant owners, sustain our business in the face of these challenges? Again, when we look at the theme, elevating the art of restaurant management through innovation, sustainability, and excellence, the aim of this theme is to ginger our thoughts as restaurant owners or restaurant managers. First, let's look at innovation. There have been changes in the lifestyle of our target audience, as there have been changes in the demographics that we target. The changes in our industry range from the building structure. Like I said, it used to be imposing buildings that we all had, to application of technology, either in the food processing or in consumer engagement methods. And of course, marketing methods have changed dramatically. On a lighter note, while I sat there, Morenica took the picture. She got somebody to take a picture of two of us, and she said, content. And I laughed. I don't know if I said it out to her, but we operate in two different generations. My generation would rather hide. But her generation is to put it in the face of everybody, and that was what she wanted. When she said content, that's again a difference that has happened in the environment that we are currently operating in. COVID-19, with the attending lockdowns and movement restrictions, forced many companies, like some of us who haven't invested in technology, to embrace digital innovation to survive. Innovation and investment management can be in the area of technology, can be in the area of offering unique products, can be in the area of introducing new processes, and of course, it can be in the area of enhancing customer experiences through unique customer service methods. Embracing innovation, no doubt, has its own definite benefits. The benefits could range from increased visibility. You can also leverage technology to reach the wider network of your consumers or potential customers through all these mobile devices that you carry around. Innovation can help us in improving our service delivery. We can leverage technology to tailor services specifically to meet the needs of our customers. Innovation can help to reduce costs through process automation or the use of technology to replace, where possible, all customer-facing activities. There are businesses that don't even have the front of the house activities anymore. They use technology to take the orders and they deliver. Technology is therefore playing a key role in food processing process, how to order, when to order, and how to pay for the order. These apps are also being used to manage customer loyalty. The use of technology itself impacts the need for brick and mortar stores. Like I've said, not only will it impact or has it impacted the size, even the existence of those structures, and of course the size of the restaurant itself. Who needs a whole building if you can reach your customers through technology, or if your customers can't reach you through technology? Customer engagement is another area where innovation can be seen in our industry. These engagement methods are geared towards giving the customer unique dining experiences from, for example, arts and restaurants, where your food is put right in front of you. It's a unique experience just to hook the customer. And of course, you can use technology to modify your recipes to suit the customer's preferences, unlike where we have fixed recipes that is made to fit a general populace. These emerging changes mean that the restaurant operators, as restaurant operators, we must be ready to also have a mindset shift from the way we used to do things, if we are going to remain contemporary, or if we are going to remain relevant in the industry that we currently operate at. How do we adapt to changing consumer preferences if we do not innovate? Innovation must therefore reflect not only in our marketing methods as the customer profiles and lifestyles are changing. These days, we talk about brand ambassadors, brand influencers, and social media influencers. These never existed 10, 15 years ago, but in present day, they constitute a major chunk of the marketing budget. I go on to sustainability. An organization, much like a living human being, is constantly changing, or is constantly adapting to it. Sustainability will touch on key decisions that we take, from the business model itself to what our capital structure should be if we want that business to survive, and of course to the key business processes that we go through, all with the view of continued survival of the enterprise. In other climes, the care for the environment and the society at large is linked to business sustainability. Implementing global sustainable practices like reducing food waste through repurposing, not reprocessing, repurposing leftovers, using eco-friendly packaging materials, and so on and so forth, can reduce costs while at the same time reducing environmental impact. Of recent, we all know Lagos State bans the use of styrofoam and other single-use plastics. All major supermarkets are no longer using the carry-out bags, traditional carry-out bags that they had before, and customers are now being forced to pay for reusable bags or biodegradable bags. We as an industry must be prepared for the extension and enforcement of SAFE to our industry. What then will our position be? I keep wondering, are we going to charge for the more expensive bags, or how do we absorb the additional cost in the cost of the meal in the restaurant? How are we focusing locally produced items to replace the imported ones, from raw materials to packaging? How are we managing our inventory systems to reduce waste, which impacts not only the environment, but also increases our cost or reduces our profit? How do we reduce or minimize electricity use? How do we reduce carbon footprint and create a greener future for the planet? How are we supporting ethical labor practices? Embracing sustainability leads to several advantages, which include profitability, as I mentioned, and profitability, you all know, is a must to the survival of our enterprise. We move on to excellence. Excellence must encapsulate all that we drive in the restaurant business. How do we achieve customer service excellence or ensure consistent customer satisfaction? Operational excellence is what sets one apart from competitors. Excellence is what leads to growth and success in the business. We are managers, but quite a number of us are managers working for other people. If you are not the policy or decision maker in your organization, then you must pass on whatever the takeaways are from today's conference. You must have a clear understanding of your market, the environment in which you operate, the type of people that you're catering to, and of course, what actually appeals to them. You must have a full picture of your costs and of what determines your profit. It is good to be able to benchmark your performance against industry standards where applicable. You must drive year-on-year growth, both revenue and customer throughput. Because anything that is not growing is dying. The knowledge experts are here today. Let's listen to them attentively. And after their presentations, we can seek clarifications as found necessary. Thank you all for listening. I wish you a successful day.
That's also another way, because those ingredients that we used to prepare another thing
trash can, and then what happens in that case? It goes down to the landfill, which is also money. In fact, not just food waste, money taking step in a very nice way, catwalking into the landfill, which is profits going out. But you don't have a plan for donation or recovery. Now, there are many charity organizations that restaurants can partner with when you have excess food. You can partner with the Lagos Food Bank and also other charity organizations that you can say, okay, we have this whole thing, a pattern of excessive food, and people can come and take some of this food. I mean, why can't we feed the nation? Are we not one? Anyway, moving on. Now, what is the role? Am I communicating? How about not too fast? I want to enjoy this discussion here. Very good, thank you. Now, what is the role of food safety failure? Poor food handling practices and quality control in food loss and waste. Food safety failure, improper storage. If you don't store your food properly, you will end up having older products, or you will not follow FIFA, right? She has mentioned it, she has given us an explanation of what FIFA and FIFA is. I won't dive into that. But if you don't store your food properly, you end up having food waste. Most times when I audit restaurants, right, it's very simple for them to have a failure in non-conformity in this aspect, because they always tend to go clean the product on the shelf and nobody's really checking for dates. Another thing that can cause this problem is when you have all of your products on the shelf. Why? Or you buy a lot of this product and you end up not even using it. Especially those ones with a short best before or a short shelf life. Temperature abuse. That's another food safety failure, and cross-contamination too. Now when it comes to poor food handling practices, again, you can never take away FIFA from this. Mishandling during preparation. If you don't handle your food properly and they go to the floor, that's waste already. Except of course in your restaurants, when food drops on the floor, you pick it, you clean it, and you serve the customer. And I'm sure that I don't have any restaurant managers that are doing that poor quality practices. The lack of hygiene. She has talked about washing your hands, your earrings, all of those things. It's very important as managers or as food business staff, we need to have proper hygiene. If you lack good hygiene, it's as well as putting money into the waste bin. And lastly, quality control, overcooking, undercooking, inconsistent portioning, rejecting food for minor defects. I don't know if this is new to many of us, right? But sometimes people reject product because they look ugly. Not for food safety cases, or not for the sake of food safety, but because I don't just like how this tomato is looking. It's not looking very fine. So they end up throwing it away. But you should understand that nobody knows whether the tomato is fine or ugly when it is being cooked. So you need to have a very good relationship with your vendors. Tell your vendors, okay, these are the qualities I am looking out for. Have a checklist. Train your vendors and train the staffs around, those who are handling it. See, training is very important though. It's not you come to work, you resume work that first day, wear your hairnets, wash your hands, remove your earrings, and that's the end. Training should be continuous. You can have on-the-job training. You can have trainings with external people. You should have a trainer who is already in a restaurant that can train down on those who are upcoming. Okay? So the role of food safety, poor food handling, and waste control can never be taken away from food loss and waste. Remember, food safety failure can make you bleed money. Poor food handling practices will make you lose money. Poor quality control, you are losing money, and that is money and that is profit that should have been generated back into more money. Now, what are the best practices, tools, and techniques in combating this hidden cost that is draining into your profit, which is food waste? Number one, for your purchasing managers and storekeepers, let them check orders for quality when receiving. Have a checklist. If it's not documented, it means it is not done. So if there's no checklist and you are not coming to the is food, there's a tendency that there will be a mistake. And once it gets into your kitchen, it may get rejected. Ensure FIFA when storing, for chefs and stewards, smart menu planning. You need to plan your menu with ingredients that can make too many food products. So if you're having, say lentils for instance, how many food products or how many menus can lentils do? Start thinking in that way. Start menu planning. Don't just plan, I have 55 menus. Oh, you one of them in one day. At the end of the day, just 5 food. What happens to the rest of them? It is waste. That's money that should have been used for any other thing that's going to waste. Okay? Portion control and just portion control. I know as Nigerians, many of us don't like it. But then again, for food business for now, if you do not manage your portion control, you end up having a lot of food waste. Your calibration, your skills, are you calibrating them? So you're calibrating your skills. Why are you calibrating the dry weights? So it's not a function of every morning you carry 5 kg, you put your seed, good. 10 kg, you put on your scale, it's good. Those dry weights, are you calibrating them? Do you have external parties that come to calibrate those skills to show that you're ensuring the right portion? What about using data to track your demand? Again, forecasting, demand forecasting. The product or the number of products you would have each Ramadan period. You agree with me that it is different from the one you start experiencing from next week. True or false? I need an answer, please. True or false? Exactly. People are fasting this period, right? So the likelihood that there will be a lot of people in the restaurants might not be as much as when people are not fasting. So consider all of those things when you're planning your menu. Then of course, digital waste tracking. There are a lot of AI tools that can help you tracking your waste. We have Uno and a lot of others. And then I think Nigerians will take away options and those are take away options. What about for your buffet host and event coordinators? So that everybody is involved, from the purchasing manager to chefs and stewards, even to event coordinators. Know the amount of guests that you are inviting to an event and plan accordingly. Have a food waste policy. This is new. I know for manufacturing companies, because those who are the FSSA national space, it is not new to them. But for restaurants, having a waste policy might be new, and to be a good initiative so that your customers know that you're trying to make money and to also save the environment. So to be a good thing to have a food safety, a food waste policy initiative, partner with food banks and again train. But the important thing is train. Do not get tired of training. If you get tired of training, call experts that can help you train your people. Please again, and say train your people. And FHSC will also carry out training. Just let me put it out next. Now, what is an action plan? I have mentioned what food loss and waste is. I have mentioned that food waste can be gotten, can be from the preface or the post phase, right? Before the customer or after the customer. What you need to do. Start with the food waste audit. We all know that we all have the HACCP team, right? We can also have a food loss team. Everybody should be involved. And should also start from management. You see, food loss and waste should not be having conversation on the shop floor or in your kitchen. You should be having food loss conversations in the boardrooms. Where your boss is saying, we're having a lot of waste, what do we need to do? That is the only way you can drive change. But if you're talking about food loss and waste in the kitchen, you might not really have that effect you want it to have. So the important thing is to have meetings, with the top management, get them involved, and have a team. Then start with a food waste audit. Every food business is a system to identify where waste is happening, to track reduction and enforce prevention. So we talked about where the waste can happen. Now, I do not know your individual kitchens, so I cannot tell you where your hotspots are. That is the work of everyone here. After this conference, remember that the lady with the glasses said, know where my hotspots are. Go to your kitchen. Managers, tie into their KPIs. Let everybody identify where the hotspots are. And then there's a strategy of technology that we spoke about. It's called TNA. We've been in existence since 1909. Did you know that? So for those who don't know, some people just screamed, eh? We are an ancestor brand. Thank you very much. You see, this is what we know how to do the best. Bring deliciousness to homes, to your meal time. And this was the initiative of two Japanese persons. One is a scientist who discovered that glutamate was the ideal substance to make meals. And then the other one, an entrepreneur who has the money to start the business. So you see, idea, meeting, capital, and then the business is born. So this is how our Ajinomoto came to be. By the way, it's a Japanese brand, and Japan products are quality products. I re-emphasize, quality products. So we've been in Nigeria since 1991, and what are we doing? We are founded on the aspiration to contribute to well-being of the human being, well-being of the society, well-being of the planet through amino science. Amino science is the technology and the specialty of the Ajinomoto group. The NAFDAC people here know us, we are registered. The SON people here know us, we have a man cap. So we are very regulated and very compliant. So what is Ajinomoto? My targets are here, the caterers are here, LSCDA, and my other catering group. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. So these are my targets, and I know restaurant people are here who use it. The people used to say that all those big restaurants today use Ajinomoto, but they hide it. So I want to ask, what do you gain if you don't use Ajinomoto? And what do you gain if you don't use and cook? You still they hide them. Tell people the source of your deliciousness, because you understand that it is safe. It is made from sugar cane. It helps you to reduce salt in your food. People call it magionio, thinking because there may be salt. Not salt. It is a product that has glutamate, and glutamate is an essential amino acid which gives the taste of umami. Umami is not sweet, not bitter, not sour, not salty, but delicious. That is the fifth taste, in case you don't know. We don't have only 4 taste sensations now, we have 5. The taste of tomatoes is not sweet, not sour, not salty. Every speaker has talked about tomatoes now. It is to make almost every meal. And so it is not sweet, not bitter, not sour, not salty, but it gives that umami taste. That's the 5th taste around the world, and it's not different to Nigeria. And that's the taste of our Ajinomoto. Ajinomoto is produced through a fermentation process of sugar-based sugarcane, beets, cassava, maize. So all of these are products through which Ajinomoto is made. And then it is made up of, our MSG is made up of simply sodium, glutamate, and water. This is it. And it contains 1/3 of the amount of sodium in table salt. So if you think your food is not delicious enough, you're just adding salt, you're adding to your hypertension. Yes, so why don't you use Ajinomoto? And it helps you to promote that deliciousness that you want in your meal. That's what we are talking about. So it is used around the world to bring out deliciousness. You are what you eat. All of us agree to that, right? It's consumed that forms you. Some food experts will tell us to avoid this fast food, pastries, cakes. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat. Reason. They tell you some of you it gives cholesterol. They just call a lot of hard names that will scare you. But once in a while, even in the pyramid of food, All these things are there. You take them, but maybe sparingly. And not that you don't take at all. So you are what you eat. And when we eat food, we don't eat to swallow those chunks. What we eat is to get nutrients from the food. Thinking one of that. So look out for it in the market. It is very beautiful for jollof spaghetti. One pack is 25 grams, and then you use it for 500 gram spaghetti. Just add 30 cl of water, and then mix it to get the sauce, and voila. Deliciousness is all the way. And we love to get questions, we love to have feedbacks. Like the MC has said, a pack like this is going to be given to everyone here, and we hope that you will use it and continue to enjoy deliciousness.
Of this program, and Grassy Global Foundation, headed by Engineer Greg Ashiboku, we are presenting this award to the DG of NAFDA, Professor Sola Pisana Adeyemi. And she was one of those ones that bring premium importance of production, the quality aspect of it. And I'm happy that I happened to be one of the first production supervisors that became an athlete manager and never stopped. So, on behalf of the organizer of the maiden edition of Restaurant Managers Conference, we are presenting this award of honor to Mrs. Bosse Ayemi in recognition of our contribution to the growth and development of Nigerian restaurant managers. We are doing that one today, and we are happy that it's still happy to be here to see this award. Restaurant, cafes, bars, and club association. You can see, I think from what we have had today, you can see that we are blessed to have and ever since you have been taking me up and down. This and that, we are having a cocktail meeting. Can you come? We are having this one, can you come? Forgetting the fact that I say Korodu, they want me to be Lama. But I have to squeeze my time to get there. So, she has been very supportive. The chairperson and president of RCBC Association, appreciation of your visionary leadership, selfless dedication, tireless effort, and understanding.
Nigeria, rich in traditional and cultural heritage, is intentional about promoting history and retaining cultural values. The country has succeeded in preserving its identities and that of the forefathers for ages through folklores, folk tales, traditional ceremonies, community-based initiatives, cuisine, and most notably, museums and cultural centers. These institutions serve as invaluable repositories of history, ensuring that future generations remain connected to their roots and appreciate the diverse cultural tapestry of the nation. In Nigeria, there are over 38 museums comprising national, state, and privately owned institutions scattered across the country. Each of these museums plays a crucial role in safeguarding Nigeria's vast historical wealth, with collections that reflect the uniqueness of different ethnic groups, traditional practices, and historical transitions over time. In Lagos, the National Museum, located at the center of the city in Onikon, claims a notable collection of Nigerian art, including pieces of statuary, carvings, archaeological and ethnographical exhibits, among others. Of particular significance is the terracotta human head, known as Jema head, dated between 900 and 200 BC, which is part of the renowned Nok culture. The piece is named after Jema, the village where it was discovered. The museum is administered by the National Commission for Museums and Monuments and remain a key educational and historical attractions for visitors. Another prominent artifact housed within the museum is the famous Benin bronze head, an evidence to the artistic excellence of the Benin Kingdom.
The museum has a lot of functions, some of which are to educate, to entertain, research, interpretation, conservation and preservation of our cultural heritage. And the museum was established, Lagos Museum particularly, was established in 1957. It was formerly referred to as Department of Antiquities. So, well, the journey so far has been interesting because, we are here, to showcase our cultural heritage, not just to the country, but to the world. And we've had, we have series of, events that we do, that involve the community. And because of that, we create that awareness that this is where you can come and, see and feel your cultural heritage, your traditions, your history. Because it is said that a people without a history is a people without identity. So the museum portrays this to the people. And over the years, that is what we've been doing. Through education, community participation, we have galleries, that we display some of our objects, our antiquities, that showcase our patrimony and all there is to know about our cultural inheritance. And so the museum, has been doing that over the years, and, we still keep doing more.
The Lagos National Museum was founded in July 1957 by English archaeologist Kenneth Murray, following the submission of architectural sketch in 1948 at a conference on museum policy in Nigeria. Kenneth Murray collected several traditional masks from Cross River State to display in the museum's early years, according to historical records. The primary purpose of structuring the museum was to preserve Nigeria's historical artifacts and cultural heritage. Fortunately, that vision has remained alive to this day. The museum serves as a significant tourist attraction for Lagos residents and international visitors alike, offering an immersive glimpse into the nation's past. Some of the remarkable artifacts currently on display at the museum include the bullet-ridden car in which former Nigerian head of state, General Murtala Muhammad, was assassinated, pictures of previous rulers and presidents of Nigeria from different eras, a diverse collection of cultural drums, tools, and ceremonial staffs from various ethnic groups, historical crowns and caps of revered traditional rulers symbolizing their power and authority, photographs of Queen Elizabeth II and her entourage during her visit to Nigeria, reflecting moments of colonial history.
It's so immense. Museum is a reminder of what the society is all about, because a number of us are missing the link. We don't even know the role, the significance of the society we find ourselves because of foreign influence. But when you come to museum, it will bring your mind back to the original habitats, the way of life of people, how things should be seen in the society, and how we should react to phenomenal changes in our environment. Basically, we'll be doing this work of educating the general public, not only Nigerians, over 20-something years here, and the impact has been so tremendous. To the point that what we do at the museum is in consonance with the curriculum of our institutions, from primary, nursery, primary, secondary, even tertiary, even people in their corporate organization. They deem me free to come to National Museum anytime they feel like, we are missing the link, we have missed a lot of things concerning the way of life of our forefathers. Even here, Apart from that, we do have what is called seminar. We organize seminar for expatriates, for individuals. They come around on Wednesdays to come and listen and learn on cultural-based subjects.
I think it's great. I mean, I particularly like the circle of life that are presented in here, right? From birth to reincarnation to external influences. I think I gave a good history of Nigeria. I learned a lot about that. There seems to be some real big connection between Nigeria and Benin in terms of the history that I wasn't totally aware of. I was able to see the different artifacts and stuff that were presented. So it was quite interesting. They did, I think, a pretty good job doing a comprehensive tour or comprehensive history of Nigeria and its culture and its surrounding areas.
A visit to the Lagos National Museum offers an enriching experience, transporting visitors back in time and allowing them to connect with Nigeria's rich and diverse history. The museum provides an opportunity to explore stories of resilience, artistry, and governance that have shaped the nation. Whether you are a history enthusiast, a student, or simply a curious traveler, stepping into this museum promises a nostalgic journey through Nigeria's past, fostering a deeper appreciation for its cultural legacy. Nigeria continues to reflect the stories that shapes its people, steadfast in its commitment to promoting history and preserving its cultural values for generations to come. Grace Komolafe, Souq Perspective.
Well, thank you once again for inviting me over. What would I say? Just doing a lot of wonderful things all over the world, working towards development of humanity in the areas of most especially sports development, football management, football administration, and other businesses I'm involved in. So that's what I've been up to. Well, basically, the National Sports Commission is there to ensure that sports development is put in a proper perspective. There are a lot of papers, a lot of policy papers, a lot of things that have been put in place. So they need to go into it, look at it, and structure something positive out for the development of sports in the country. I'm sure they have all what it takes to do it, and the zeal and the power to go ahead and put those things in place. That's basically what they need to do. How the implementation is key. And I know, well, one way or the other, they should have the wherewithal to do it. So I wish them all the best. Well, you see, I don't like criticizing. I think I've gone away from areas of criticizing, but the standard of the league is very poor, and they have to put all efforts together to improve on the league. Also, the technicalities of the game, the manpower. We have to, we're still doing what we practiced 15 to 10 years ago. So it's not changed. So all those things have to change. We have to go away from the mediocre ways of running the game and put in more investment in development of the game itself. In the clubs have to be, it's so sad that we in Nigeria prefer to watch the Premier League compared to the Nigerian Premier League. It's a sad story. I remember 40 years ago, you could go to the stadium and watch our local, amateur league, and there were standards. So there's no reason why we can't bring that back. it's the wherewithal, the willpower to do it. And the stem from, having to go away from the area of mediocrity, where we bring in professionalism. We have the people that can do it, without any doubt. But for the system to allow them come in and do those things is another question. How that is going to be done, we've talked about it for many years, but nothing has been done about it. I pray and I hope someday they'll put up the proper perspective and the willpower to do those things. When it comes to grassroots football, we really have to start with kids from a very early age. We must have we have to start with them from age 5 to 16, to 18, to 20. So you have to have a sequence, a system where you build around from the very younger ones, and you have a uniform structure. Number one, we have to identify the kind of football we want to play in Nigeria, our type of football, our ethos, what we want to play. And then we can now imbibe that, put it in our kids from a very early age. So from age 5, you go under 5 to under 8, under 8 to under 12, under 12 to under 16, under 16 to under 18. You have those structures in place, and it's spread around the nation. Now, where it's not the under 5 or under 18 where you put a 20-year-old or 25-year-old. You have to have a system where those kids are registered and we can monitor them from a very early age. You understand me? Where we don't cheat, where we bring in the right age and we train them to perform at different age group levels. And going into from there and then going into the national sides, so we can start playing the under 10, under 15, or under 16, under 18. You understand me? So those structures have to be in place, which we don't have today. There must be uniformity. You understand? So if we can do that in the future, we will progress. But there must be a system in place. We must have coaches that have been trained to work with the kids from that very early age. And those coaches are trained within the system, within the Nigerian Football Federation, and then they're sent out to work with those children all over the nation. The football academies we have today are only out to sell players. You understand me? So what I'm saying here is where we have, I'm not saying academies shouldn't sell players or not. Those players in the academies, if we have uniformity, should be playing in the league. And then we must have a cap where we say, look, until you're a certain age, you can't leave the country. You must play in that league because we've invested in you. We've invested in those kids. So maybe they will have to play till they're 20 or 18 or 19, where they can now go out, you understand, to play abroad. But there must be a structure in place, and there must be laws guiding it. That's the only way we can excel. It also goes to it also goes back to what I've been saying. The girls, the female team in Nigeria today, I believe the girls, I call them girls or ladies, are the ones that will ever win the World Cup first. They got the capacity, they got the women football, they can win the World Cup. They've got what it takes. But then it now goes back to our attitude and the corruption in the system. You understand me? If you allow the other girls from a very early age develop, and you have the same system I'm talking about, that cap of under 5, under 8, under 10, and you structure and you do it continuously in uniformity, we will be world beaters. We will win the World Cup at any given time because the women have got the grit. They pick up very faster than our men. They tap the balls. They are more technically better, within that range. So, but it's for us to develop those things and to take away corruption. First, when we talk about indigenous coaches, what coaches do we have? You see, if you don't have a competitive league, a highly professional league, How do you want to get good coaches? You can't get good coaches. The coaches, it's not that we don't have the capacity to build good coaches. We have a lot of talents in this country that can be world beaters, that could be top coaches. I talk to young stars. Young stars will talk to you about the technicality of the game. You know, they're very bright. Even my son, when he talks to me about football, I think he knows the game better than I do today. The technicalities of the game, you understand me? The formations, how players play, back and forth. It's because you've given them the exposure. And we need to give our young stars that exposure. We need to develop them. That's what we're not doing. We have to invest in them. But for now, we have not done that. And what we're doing today is those bunch of coaches we have are not good enough to run the national team at that level of competition. I have one or two of them in America that are sound. For, you know, they're there. But how many of them can you bring into the system? You understand me? Our local coaches, we need...
National Institute of Sports.
Now, please, let's forget about the National Institute of Sports. That, I use a word, it's been alarmalized. That's a very poor system. You know, it has nothing, we have nothing there. I'm serious. I'm not running anything. Our National Sports Institute is a disgrace. So we shouldn't be talking about that. Yeah. If you want to talk about a National Sports Institute, then you go to Australia and other countries, and you see what it is. You see the standards. We don't have those things. Ours is archaic.
Is it beyond redemption?
There's nothing beyond redemption. It can be, you know, we can work on it. We can develop it. We just have a time frame, work around it. See, there's nothing we cannot do in this country. We got everything possible to do it. It's the wherewithal. Do we have that mindset to do it? Are we ready for it? Those are the things we have to look at. Or do we want to continue with our mediocrity? But really, sincerely speaking, there's nothing impossible. We can do anything here. We've got great youngsters. We have to remove all this old, archaic way of thinking and then bring in a more modern, professional approach to things. So that's it. Media is one of the most corrupt anyway, I'm sorry to say. The sports media and all that, the sports writers. I worked in the system, I know how corrupt they are. Majority of them are corrupt. I'm saying it. They can challenge me, but it's the truth. Until we get rid of all those things, where our boys go and collect envelopes to write or favor people, we're not going to get anywhere. I'm not saying the press in general, but the sports writers, I disgrace. See, the supporters club is not going to do anything or develop football. This is just to travel, get things. Oh, it's fine. It's good to have fans. But what has that got to do with football development? Nothing. Supporters club is not going to do anything. They're playing their own politics. You understand me? They want to travel. That's it. Travel around the world, do things. But is that part of football development? That is not football development. So let's leave that aside. We're talking about the professional, the technicalities, what it takes to develop national sides or a proper league. Then the supporters club has nothing to do with it. Do you see, how many people do you see at stadiums in Nigeria instead of watching football? Scanty, there's nothing. It's not like in the days where in the 70s or even in the 60s, if you're going to play a game at 4:45 in the afternoon, the stadium is full to capacity. At 11 in the morning. You don't have that anymore. So what are we talking about supporters club?
Is there a way we can bring that back, that passion?
Yeah, if you build a league that, you know, has the quality, the professionalism, and all the standards are put in place, then you can bring them back. Then you can bring the crowd back. I think it's very unfair to call it lesser sports. All sports are tops. Yeah, it's very wrong to call them. They're top sports. Basketball is tops. Athletics is tops. It's very wrong. I think it's very unfair to call them lesser sports. See, bottom line is the politics, the greed, you understand me? We have top, talented basketball players all over the world. We could put them together. It's all about management. It's all about commitment. But you don't have those things there. It's about myself. It's all about self-aggrandization. What do I get from this? It's not about what do we do to build these teams or these athletes to be world beaters. Do you understand me? So you're not going to get anything out of it. You will never. It's the bottom line. You'll never ever get anything. So you'll always have factions. You'll always have people fighting. Why do you fight for what? If you can collectively come together to build a system, a structure for basketball, for example, because the girls are tops, they can perform, they could do far better than where they are today. I always tell you, the female teams in Nigeria will always excel in athletics, in basketball and all that. Our male are a bit arrogant and clunky in doing things, but the ladies are always more committed. They've got what it takes, but they need good management. It's not that the men can't do it, the men can do it, but it all also evolves with good management. Taking away politics, taking away greed, not a situation where a coach is collecting money from a player to put a player in the team, or a member of the football association fighting for their children or family to play in the national team, or a member of government is asking someone to put their kids in the team. No, that's not it. Where is the nationalism? Where's that patriotism? Patriotism. I don't care where you come from. If you're good, you're good. If you're better than my own people, then my own people have to sit down and you let them, the others that can perform. Where would you have quota system in football? Where's that done? Do you understand me? So we have a lot of issues we need to resolve. Well, what do you expect? The athletes themselves are far more successful and far more exposed than the administrators. So the administrators obviously are always envious of those ones, and they make life difficult for them. Do you understand me? Where you have people that are not competent enough running a system, people that are not exposed, that haven't got the professional ethics to run the thing, that's what you get. Then the greed aspect, which is a standard norm for us in this country. Greed. Where people believe athletics is only, you being a member of the Athletics Federation is all about traveling. You understand me? He wants to travel, she wants to travel. She wants to be in the, in the group of people that are going away. See, you can never get no results. They're all fighting to get something. And then they don't care about the athletes. They want to be in a delegation that is going to travel. Do you understand me? So that's basically it. They're not interested in the development. They haven't got the zeal. You understand me, sir? So once you don't have those things, you can never get anything right. Yeah, the private sector is one. The cricket has more because, government involvement is not as, I think you have more of the private people, interested private people that have gone to schools, top schools, that played cricket in those days. Those are the ones that are promoting cricket. So you're going to get results, you understand me? Because they're far more exposed, they understand what it takes. So the commitment is there. They're using their own funds to push, to develop the game. You understand sport. So that's why cricket is picking up. Oh, you mean the National Sports Festival? I think for now we don't really need that. We need to do more with the private sector. I think the new chairman of the National Sports Commission, he seems he's an exposed person. I think he's got to sit right and see how he can provide solutions to these things and change the course of. He's got what it takes to do it. He just has to come out of that shell, come out of that darkness. I'll call it darkness, and come into real light. I think he has it. But National Sports Festival, I don't think we're ready. We really need that now. We need to do more with youth development programs. You see, a National Sports Festival in those days was more interesting because you had more schools, inter-school sports. And that is where the best athletes came from. We don't have that anymore. So first we need to build the school sports, schools, athletics and all that, build it to a standard and then go into national sports festivals. For now, we don't have that. And I think the National Sports Commission has to look into that, how they can work with the Ministry of Education and see how they can build that again. School sports. That's where you get the best. In those days, the best athletes. We knew those that will run, that will actually participate and run for Nigeria. We knew the ones that will do high jump, long jump, triple jump. We knew them, both female and females, from secondary school. You don't have that anymore. So where do they come from? Nowhere. So you have, like in those days where some schools will go and get mercenaries, pay for them to come and run. That's what you get today. So it's corrupt. Now, the Sports Commission has to work on that. It has to change it. I know they can do it. They just need to sit back and look at how they will change the course of things. If you want to unite Nigeria with good sports, then you got to give them good results, good teams that can perform. You understand me? In the process of winning competitions, or they have a team, or they have teams that have got the quality that can move the nation, then you unite. Everybody wants to watch good football. Everybody wants to see a great athlete running. You want to see a good high jumper performing at the best. When you see that, it draws everybody together. If you have a good national team that plays excellent football, look, in Nigeria, when you look at our team, the 94 team, we were the 5th in world ranking. You were talking about ranking, which I don't really. When we really had a good ranking, we were number 5 in the world. The 94 team was number 5. The World Cup 94, we were rated as the 5th best team in the world. And you look at the style of football we played. We developed our own style of football, took it to the world, and we were respected. We don't do that anymore. We have to have an identity. You understand me? Our footballers are not the best. We're good, we're very athletic, we're strong, we're physical. You understand me? We've got to build that kind of football. We are not as technical when it comes to techniques and all that, like the Europeans. But when it comes to the physicality, you understand me, we're better. When it comes to the physicality, the mental strength, we have it. So you have to build around that. You're putting a bit of technical things there, but the main issues is we got to have the muscles, the strength to run any team down. That's the kind of football we should play. We're playing lazy football now. We have to play what we played then, where we run any team down. We can play 2-3 hours non-stop. We never get tired. We don't have that anymore. We can't even string passes. We can't play 2 against 4, 3 against. We don't do it anymore. We're lazy. It's not only the coach. Yeah, the coach and then the association, the federation. They don't have a vision. You have to know what you want to present to the world. It's like any other top team in the world. In Real Madrid, Barcelona, they have their own type ethos, their own style of football. And this is what they sell to the world. We don't even know what we're doing. We have to have what it takes to sell to the world. This is what we want to do. This is how we can perform. This is the style we're going to play. And that style we believe in. And then we build the youngsters from very early to play that same type of football. We have the manual that we can work with. Uniformity. Simple. That's it. No, it's individual and the corporate organizations. They're not doing enough. Everything can't just be government. Today, you don't even have Nigerians pumping money into sports like they used to do that. I'm sorry, I don't want to digress, and I don't want to say what my father did. I'm not promoting my family, but I knew how he invested millions of dollars building the national teams. Yeah, his personal funds. You don't get those things anymore. Do you understand me? You have to see the '94 team was done outside the outside government. It was done by individuals. That was why we were successful. But you don't have those things anymore. You just have a bunch of greedy leaders and greedy individuals or corporate bodies. It's all about them and their family. They're not giving it. So how do you want the kids to perform? How? All the kids are out there wasting away. We got great talents in this country, but they're wasting away because we're not helping out. We're not encouraging them. We're not building structures, institutions where you can build those, you can develop those kids. Yeah. So they're on the street doing yahoo, doing all sorts of stupid things. Yeah. Because there's no competition. There's nothing to draw their attention. You understand me? Until we do those things, we can never ever change. We can't get it right. Yeah, well, for me, I don't see any difference for me, whatever you give to the female teams, you also give to the senior, to men. Because our team, our female team, at the world ranking today, we're tops, we're recognized. So you have to also allow, but for men, anywhere in the world, men always have an advantage. But doesn't mean the disparity should be so much. You give the ladies, I remember, when I was the FA chairman, I remember once the female team was in camp, and we went there in Ota. When we found out what they were earning, it was disgraceful. They couldn't even buy their, I'm sorry to say that, what you ladies use, your pads, you couldn't even buy it. I had to tell them, these are women. Why are you treating them like rubbish? They have to be looked after. Because they're going to need more of those systems because you have more wastage than men. Don't let me go into what I'm saying, but I understand. So the women have to be well taken care of. Yeah, simple. So you've got to give them what it takes. To strike a balance. You have to strike a balance. Solutions I'm going to give you, I can't give you a straight off head, right? But really, since first, we have to get rid of greed. We have to go away from all this religiosity in the system because religion has destroyed the fabrics of a nation. See, being a Christian or a Muslim or whatever doesn't mean you got to cheat people or lie to people or not show love. You understand me? Or the religious, when I come to religion, the churches, the institutions we have today are not developing education. There must be uniformity in education. They're not developing education. Education is key. But you know what we have today? Half-baked educated youths. Half-baked. And that's the worst you can ever have. And that is key in anything we do. First, to have good leaders, well-structured. In Germany, in Europe, and now, the kids that go to the best universities, some kids are developed, they're built up to be top civil servants. So they go to Oxford, they go to Cambridge, they become top politicians. Then you have the ones that will become big and top engineers and they go to certain universities. All those things are structured. We had it before in the past. It's gone. We've got to find the way. It's not about just giving licenses to universities. But for me, the foundation, education, is very key. When you have half-baked youths and you have half-baked leaders that haven't got that structure in place, that proper education, they can never excel. What are you going to tell them? They will never get it right. So that's very key. Now, when you talk about policies, who are the ones that are going to put the policy papers together if they're half-baked? Because you need policy papers, you need to have a better understanding of your environment, of the society. You have to have a better understanding of how the society will grow. So if you don't have that in mind, you can never develop. So you need those things to make the nation change. I'm just giving it in a nutshell. Yeah, you need more commercial, you need more private sector funding, you need more sponsorship, and then, like I said, you need more training. You need to train your coaches. Our referees are the most Nigerian referees. You don't see. Do you see any referee participating in any African Nations Cup? No. Because, and you're telling me it's the best league. That's the most corrupt league in the world. Because our coaches are not even, our referees are not even allowed. They never invite them for any Nations Cup. So what are we talking about? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Every match in the MPFL, most times, most of the games, all home teams win. You don't see away teams coming to win. So are you telling me that's a balanced league? It's not a balanced league. It's a corrupt league. So that has to change first. When that changes, you understand me? And also, then other things will follow. You see, you have the National Olympic Committee that is run, by the private sector and government. Now you need to get the right people in the private sector to come in there to work with some people in government, people that have got the wherewithal, that got the financial muscle and the commitment to do those things. Not just people that are hustlers that just want to get something out of it. It's about people that want to give. That's what Olympics is all about. People that give, that are ready to give, to develop Olympians to be world beaters. People that truly want that mood, that soul of Olympics to excel. That's what we need. And that is what we have to work on. And that comes from leadership, that comes from the system, where you choose the right people that have got what it takes to build the Olympic team.
The journey of exploring Africa's uniqueness and spotlighting the continent's powerful stories and promises remains in our heart. And today we unfold one of that story that shapes Africa's soul. Central African Republic, otherwise known as CAR, is the heart of the continent, a land rich in natural wealth, yet often misunderstood. Bounded by 6 neighbors and situated in the very center of Africa, the Central African Republic is landlocked, but far from landlocked in spirit. It is a country of vast green savannas, dense tropical forest, rich wildlife, and river systems that feed both its land and identity. From the Ubangi River in the south to the fringes of the Saharan zone in the north, the CAR holds some of the continent's most ecologically vital and untouched terrain. But beyond the land lies the story of its people, diverse, resilient, and culturally vibrant. The Central African Republic is home to more than 80 ethnic groups, including the Baya, Banda, Mangia, and Sara, each with its own language, dance, craftsmanship, and oral traditions that have been passed down for centuries. Despite a history marked by conflict and political fragility, the spirit of community and cultural pride runs deep. At the heart of CAR's economy is natural wealth. Gold, diamonds, timber, and uranium lie beneath its soil. However, the paradox of abundance is real. These riches have not always translated into broad-based development. Yet, across towns like Bangui, Bosangoa, and Braya, local farmers, traders, and artisans continue to drive informal economies, even as international organizations work alongside the government to rebuild systems and structures. Hope also beats through the arts. CAR's vibrant music and storytelling traditions are rich with wisdom and resistance. From traditional percussion ensembles to modern gospel and Afrobeat, Central Africans use rhythm and voice not only to entertain, but to educate, heal, and unify. The Sanga Trinational Forest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site shared with Congo and Cameroon, is one of the last strongholds of forest elephants and lowland gorillas. A reminder of CAR's role in Africa's environmental balance. Conservation efforts led by local communities are emerging as models for inclusive sustainability. Of course, the Central African Republic still wrestles with serious challenges, including instability, infrastructure gaps, and displaced communities. But across these trials, a quiet resurgence is unfolding. Investments in education, local peace building, women's cooperatives, and agro-processing industries are gradually reshaping narratives from one of crisis to one of courage and capacity. To know the Central African Republic is to understand that even in the most tested territories, Africa's heart continues to beat, strong, steady, and full of promise. This is the uniqueness of Africa. I am Moyosore Adebi for Souqnews TV.
My name is Muiba Wonu Folami, an indigenous of Lagos State, Ikorodu, to be specific. I was born in Lagos 86 years ago, and to the glory of God, I'm still alive and well, and trying to be a relative in the cause of women. I attended primary school. I started at Ansarudin Alakuru School. From there to CMS Girls School, and then Queen's College, Lagos. From Queen's College, I went to the Portsmouth College of Technology for my A-levels, and then University of London for my first degree in law. The same university for my master's degree in law. I had, between obtaining my master's and my first degree, I was in Nigeria to do the mandatory law school course. I was one of the last people to do a 3-month course before it was changed to 1 year. And then went back to England for my master's. And from there to lecture at the University of Zambia. Back to Nigeria, I was appointed by Dr. Taslim Elias, the CJ of Nigeria, to the Commission for Advance Notice to Lawyers of Developments in Law. It was a commission funded by the Ford Foundation to keep lawyers abreast of the developments in law. I was a director there. Then from there, I was admitted to the Federal Ministry of Justice. After being legal advisor to many ministries, I ended up as the Director of Public Prosecutions for the Federation. And after that, whilst I was the Director of DPP, I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. After retirement, I've been involved in social work, in religion, I've always had religion, but I spend more time on religion. I read, I watch telly, and I live a good life to the glory of God. You see, when you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments. And it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality. But when it was done, it may be small, but at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do two jobs. They look after the home, and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in the workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. That's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
But how can we speed this up?
By bringing it to the attention of world powers, recognition by every country of equal opportunities, equal pay. I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me the jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
They've contributed immensely. Even in the new thing, IT, we're at par with men. So I do not see the reason for it. Unfortunately, I did not experience it, because when I left university, I practiced law briefly in my uncle's chambers before I went to University of Zambia as a lecturer. There, my position was enhanced in the sense that I was a foreigner, and I got all the benefits of being a foreigner, serving in their service. Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or a woman, you get the same salary scale, and you are promoted on equal basis. Kudos to the federal government, to Nigeria for that. But in the private sector, things are different. In some companies, this is the area that we have to work on, because the job content is the same. Some of these facilities are available in Nigeria. I learned by being a member of the Society for the Disabled that every government body must admit a certain percentage of women and of disabled people most times this opportunity is not taken. They are bound to employ them. We continue to push for that to be implemented in most ministries. It's important because it's there. You have to take a certain percentage of disabled people to work in government positions. It's important that we work to enforce that rule in our society. When it comes to discrimination, Nigeria is way, way ahead of some developed countries because we, through slavery, we faced discrimination right from the beginning. We now know how to resist it. But in my country, Nigeria, in the federal government, in the state government, there is no discrimination. It may happen in private organizations, but they must continue to push to let them understand that the job content is the same. Well, you see, traditionally, under our culture, women are in the other room. To borrow the quotation.
Yeah.
That's our society, that's our culture. It's going to take a long time to evolve. In my time, female education was not so-called popular. It's only the educated few that strove to send their children to school, their girl child to school. They end up trading with their mothers or going to market and getting married off early. But as education began to rise in our community, its value was seen by my parents and others of their contemporaries to educate the girl child. And I believe the society is benefiting from that. So we must continue to push for the education of women, of girls. I have thought that, when I read that, the certain state government has appointed look at our National Assembly, 4 women in the Senate. Isn't that shameful? And that is the society. We have to continue to push women up. Let these political parties know that we want women. Let us organize ourselves to continue to vote for women massively. I give kudos to our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His cabinet women is well represented in his cabinet. And I enjoy that, I love him for that. And I continue to urge him to do more. He's done a lot. I think Lagos State has the largest representative of women in cabinet. First of all, they have to project themselves in their office space, their workspace. Let everybody know that they are equal to the task. Let us organize. There's a lot of society groups and societies that cater for the interest of women. I believe now violence against women is reducing in the society because there are sanctions for such behavior. I must say that speaking to the organization in charge of violence against women, I was amused to learn that some men come there to complain and that they are also being violated and abused.
Yes, it's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way thing. So that is reducing our society. Education of the girl child is important. We have to let the locals know that education is important. Let them showcase to them the lives of those who have been educated and who are holding high positions. I'm glad that our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has returned history to the classrooms. It's important. Let them know about people that have contributed to the development of our societies and country. It's important. Yes, it's education. It's education. Once people are educated and they know that there is nothing a man can do that a woman cannot do when it comes to the workplace. We have women engineers, miners, and also all of that. Give me a job specific that a woman cannot do, then I'll change my views. So the moment you begin to upgrade education, let government now continue to vote more for education. I don't believe we are doing enough. There is a UN convention, and I think Nigeria is part of that convention, that a certain amount of a nation's income should be devoted to education. I'm not sure whether Nigeria is complying with that. But some states are better than others. And we must, education, I believe in education of the girl child. Some states now are taking children, girls off the street. Hawking is completely prohibited. Things like that will help. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are not advanced enough to use our votes to change things. We are still not voting for individuals. We are voting for parties, irrespective of performance. Education will help. And when we join other nations for the same purpose, we get results. Our organizations who are fighting for women in Nigeria should join worldwide organizations to showcase our own situation and learn. I believe that when you talk to others, you come back with ideas on how to improve things. So we must improve things by telling women in positions to show, to continue to prove that they are more than up to the task. It will not come to us on a platter of gold. We must show by our actions and behavior that we are up to the task. Of course, some women are wrong in claiming equal rights to their husbands in the house. I completely abhor that behavior. Even though your husband and man in my culture remains the head. He should be respected. His youth should be respected. It's only now the condition of living is so high that you join the two incomes together to run the house. In the past, it was the men that ran the house to pay for everything. Maybe some of these women are thinking that because they are contributing a quota to the development, that they have equal rights. Yes, they have equal rights on the upbringing of the children in their homes and everything. But respect is important. That will keep the home, and the children will learn and imbibe it into their own children too. Equal right does not, in my view, mean that you can be rude, can not submit to your husband's wishes. Equal right means something differently. Respect comes out of it. It's important. I go out and I'm like appalled at the way women dress. There's a competition to show as much of your body, to produce as much of your body that you can. It's absolutely disgusting. They're not women. They're no longer women. The exposure, things that if you did in my time, a member of the community will cover you with a cloth and send you home. Because community mattered at that time. You dare not misbehave outside your compound because this community is watching you and reprimanding you if you go wrong, if you behave badly outside. That is law. And that is why you see people, even their dressing, show disrespect to womanhood and to themselves and to the community. We must learn, teach our children etiquette of dressing, speech, how to think and speak in a decent manner. We don't have it anymore. We're losing it, and it's shameful because people are appreciating naked women on the streets.
Yeah.
Both sides. If people dress badly and you tell them and ignore them, they won't try the next time. For instance, I believe nobody can dress to come to my house or to come to my party like a naked woman. I will turn her back. I will turn her back. So that's the type of thing that we should all do. Let the people doing this know that we do not appreciate things like this. When the society itself corrects it, we must correct it individually. If their parents cannot correct it, we must, by ignoring them and not allowing them to come near us. Show our women that have contributed to the society.
Yeah.
Show them, showcase them, showcase them.
Yeah.
We have the first woman senior advocate of Nigeria. We have Okonjo-Iweala. We have, in the UN. We have all sorts. We have, what's this pharmaceutical woman? She's done so much. The younger ones are there. Little ones like Shadi Okoya is managing her husband's company and doing well. Let's encourage them. They are young. The young ones, they are working to improve the society. There's so many of them out there. We should showcase them. Let them know that we have women who are of top quality, intelligent, and well-behaved, and they dress well. Dressing well is dressing in a manner that is appealing to the eyes, not nakedness. That's my darling, this new CJN of Nigeria.
Okay.
Who do that? I did talk about Kekere. I mean, we're there. Female CJN.
Yeah.
And there are so many female chief judges all over the Federation. There are so many in the medical profession, in the engineering profession. We have pilots. So let them know that there is nothing that a woman cannot do. In IT, in everything, women are moving forward. We should showcase them. We should let their pictures be seen in our newspapers, in our news, in everything, to encourage young girls that you too can get there. If they don't see, and if they don't know the history of these women, how they got there, they too will not be inspired. We have to inspire the young people with the achievements of women achievers. Kekere rose from magistrate to right to the top. I admire her. She's well composed, well behaved. Some of these people, when they become something, they lose their heads. They start with, no, she's so respectful, well behaved, well dressed. I don't think she would allow herself or her children to come out naked. Never. So people like that, Okonjo Iweala the same. We have a lot.
Well, thank you very much indeed. My name is Stephen Kola Balogun. I happen to be a lawyer, and should I call myself a pseudo-politician? Not quite a politician, but I've served in government before, and I'm delighted to be here. Well, thank you very much. Well, yes, is it my family or the wider family? I mean, like I said, I'm the son of Chief Dr. Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. Like I said, he was a former politician, a frontline politician. He was the General Secretary of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, later National Council of Nigerian Citizens. He was the General Secretary of that party for about 8 years. From there, he was appointed by Souq to become a federal minister. He was initially a federal minister without portfolio. Consequently, after that, he became acting minister for labor, social services, and then he became Nigeria's first federal minister for information in 1956. He held that portfolio to 1958. Thereafter, he resigned from government. He had disagreement with the party. And Tafawa Balewa felt that he was a useful politician that could be sent to Ghana. And he went to Ghana to find out what was. Ghana was a bit ahead of us in terms of politics at the time. I think it's fair to say they got independence just before us. And Tafawa Balewa wanted someone to understudy, to find out what we're doing. So he sent Kola Balogun there. Initially, he was commissioner, and later, when we gained independence in 1960, he became high commissioner. Shortly after that, when we became independent, he yearned to come home. He wanted to take part in the new political atmosphere at the time. He asked the Prime Minister to relieve him, to let him come back, and he did come back home. And immediately he took up the position of being chairman of the National Shipping Line. That was a position he held on to until the military struck in 1966. But even then, when the military did strike in 1966, he still continued. I think General Adebayo of blessed memory invited him to join his cabinet, and he served as a commissioner for about 3 years or more. I think he was commissioner for health and was commissioner for education. Later, he also became chairman of the sketch group of companies as well. And that was about it. I think after his stint in government, he decided to go and do a PhD at the University of Ibadan. And then he went back into private legal practice. And then he started this agitation for the creation of Osun State. He and a few others set up the movement. He was the chairman of the movement. And then to the glory of God, in 1991, Osun State was created. And that's it.
Tell us about mommy.
Well, yes, my mother. Well, in those days, the women once seemed not so much in the forefront, But my mother has been my bedrock. She stood by me, and she has backed me in most of the things I've set out to do, And she's still alive. She's 89 this year, and she's still doing well, and she's still
and your wife
going
and
strong.
The kids?
Yes, my children. Yes, I have 3 girls, 3 daughters. My oldest is 31. She studied at King's College London. She did reasonably well. She got a 7th class upper. Proud of her. She's an art curator today. And I have twin girls as well who are also in university now, that they haven't graduated yet. One of them is in Oxford University. She's studying history and politics. And the other is in Cambridge University. She's studying human, social, and political sciences. So, yeah. I did. I mean, my father, Chief Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. Yes, he was in the first cabinet in the First Republic, the first ever cabinet Nigeria had, and he served as the Federal Minister of Information and Research. As a matter of fact, he happened to be Nigeria's first information minister. Later, T.O.S. Benson, of course, became the independent Nigeria's first information minister, but independent Nigeria. But Nigeria's first ever information minister happened to be Chief Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. No, I didn't. I took an opposite route from my father. My father went into politics straight immediately after he finished his education, and then he now ventured into law a little bit later. I decided to look at things differently. I thought that after academics I should practice law a bit, and that's what I've been doing. But at some point, I think that was in about 2011, I was called upon to serve in the Osun State government as a commissioner, and I took up that opportunity, and I enjoyed myself. Well, I am in the sense that I'm 65 years old now, and I think it's fair to say that we belong to, well, I won't say the first set, but one of those who benefited from Nigerian education. I schooled here. I went to secondary school in the West. I went to the University of Ife, went to the Nigerian Law School. And I think it's fair to say that all the schools at that time were of high quality, produced top quality students who went on to make names for themselves, not just here in Nigeria, but also abroad. I think we still do that now, even though the standard of education has dropped. The sad thing about it is that Nigeria could have been a lot better in terms of the potential, because Nigeria does have a lot of potential. We do have very brilliant young men and women, you know, and I just think that if we had invested more in education, that we could have, the sky would have been the limit, actually. Well, my take on this is that it's the system of law itself. As a young lawyer, I experienced a few challenges myself, and I think one of the obvious challenges is the appeal structure. It's too easy to appeal against judgments. At the same time, when you file actions in court, there are no penalties for costs. In other words, I can file a frivolous action. I could insult you, as an example, and then you could sue me. And I say to myself, well, I'm going to eke it out. I'm going to take it. You're going to have to take me all the way to the Supreme Court. That doesn't make sense. That's not fair. On the other hand, I could also file a frivolous application against you. And then filing a frivolous application, I could call you something you are not. I could defame you. And in so doing, you expect at least that once you prove your case, that I will be made to pay the penalties for filing frivolous applications. But that doesn't happen. And then, of course, the conditions of the judges. I mean, the judges are still writing longhand. They do trials, they sit there, they listen to witnesses, give evidence, and they have to write all these things down longhand. So there's so many challenges that has hampered the progress of law. And there hasn't been enough investment, I must say. Well, I agree with that, and I'm going to give an example as to how that I think we could possibly do that. Now, the Supreme Court hears everything. It's the final court in Nigeria, so they're going to hear issues related to criminal law, civil matters, constitutional matters, as you know, all these matters that's got to do with elections, so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, when we have an election cycle, the legal system slows down because the judges are hampered. They're too busy listening to the various appeals from the various states and the federal government to do with the elections. So as a consequence, the other matters to do with shipping, banking, criminal law are put on the back burner. I think we need what you call a constitutional court, whereby which the judges in the Supreme Court are divided. So you have those judges whose responsibility it is entirely to deal with constitutional matters, and then you have another set whose duty will be to deal with shipping, banking, civil matters, criminal matters, and so on and so forth. So I believe it's high time Nigeria has a constitutional court to try and aid the Supreme Court with the workload they have, which is, quite frankly, quite a bit. Well, Nigerians, with respect, are very brilliant, very intelligent, and they are very aware. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a tailor, you're a driver, you're a lawyer, engineer, they are quite well informed. And the truth of the matter really is that this is the longest republic we've had. This republic started in 1999, and this is 2025, so 26 years. Nigeria's never had a republic this long. But the main flaw is the one you just mentioned. The fact that that constitution that was bequeathed to us by the military in 1999 was never really approved by the people. That doesn't make sense, and that's unfair, in fairness. We ought to be able to look at the constitution, improve upon it, and put our own input into it. Now, there's a way around that, and I've always believed, many people oppose this, but I'm of the view that what Nigerians need to have is a referendum. Have a referendum to ask the Nigerian people whether they want to persist with the 1999 constitution, or do they want to drop a new one? If the answer to that question is yes, we want to drop a new constitution, then that puts paid to the 1999 constitution, and then you can now have a system, a constituent assembly, whatever the case may be, where people will sit around the table and fashion out a new constitution. If the people say no, that means I've indirectly approved the 1999 constitution, and then we continue with it. But what we can't do is continue having this debate, these arguments as to whether the 1999 constitution has been approved by Nigerians or not, because it has not been. So I think the way around that is to ask the Nigerian people through a referendum, asking them whether they want to persist with this constitution. If they say no, then we have a new one. If they say yes, we continue with the old one. And that ends the debate. Every system has its merits. Every system has its advantages and disadvantages. To some extent, the presidential system of government has an advantage. It has the advantage in the sense that it has brought government nearer to the people. So the people of Osun, from where I'm from, for instance, now, have their own state. Same thing can be said, it's been replicated across the country. However, the drawbacks, the disadvantage is the fact that it's extremely expensive. Now, look at Nigeria, for instance, now. We have 36 state governments. So that means we have 36 governments in Nigeria. If you add the government of Abuja, if you add the federal government, that's 38. Now, each one of these governments have some form of legislature, judiciary, an executive as well, local government, civil service. It's too expensive. Look, in America, where we borrowed this system from, the states came together to form a union. This is totally different. We are doing it the opposite way. So we've had a structure that we're now going back. So at the end of the day, many of the state governments are still dependent on the federal government. And as a consequence, the kind of progress we ought to be making, we're not quite making it. So I personally, and this is a personal view because others would disagree, I would prefer that we reduce the size of government by having some kind of regional structure. And I believe that that will reduce the burden of governments. And if we can reduce the burdens of government, we can use this money to do many other things. And I also think it will also improve standards as well. Not just standards of government or parliamentary standards or whatever the case may be, but there'll be less people involved in the political system. And that would help us a great deal. Well, I think it's fair to say that since 1999, we haven't had any new state creation. I know there's been agitation for the creation of states, but there hasn't been any. The process for creating a state is quite cumbersome. It's not easy. I think it's in Section 8 and 9 of the Constitution. I don't think it's something we should be looking at. I think, like I said to you earlier, I think we should be trying to reduce the number of states, and I think some kind of regional structure whereby which we can monitor better what's going on rather than having more states. So I personally would not encourage the creation of more states, no. In the 1950s, we had 3 regions, if I'm correct. Those regions were the West, the East, and the North. We had the colony of Lagos, but if I'm right, I think it was the MacPherson Constitution, I think it is, I'm not too sure, that now put Lagos under the Western region. Now, when Lagos was placed under the Western region, lots of people were not happy about that. I remember my father was in the NCNC. The NCNC people were not particularly pleased. Neither were the NPC. Because they felt that Lagos belonged to everybody. Like you said, lots of people from different walks of life, different tribes, different backgrounds, and all schooled. I mean, Zik schooled in Lagos. He went to MBHS. So it was the issue was sent to London to arbitrate. I think it was Oliver Littleton that arbitrated over the matter. And it was decided that Lagos should stand on its own. that Lagos should not be merged with any of the regions. And that was how Lagos was able to free itself from the shackles of the Western region. It's fair to say that the position of the NCNC was actually argued in London by my father. That's why I'm quite familiar with this. But talking about Lagos, when the military, after that, we had what you called a minister for Lagos. I think there was Ribadu, and I think there was one other person, but I think it was Yaradua, not the same Yaradua, but his father. And then later after that, when the military struck, they created the state of Lagos. So the issue of giving Lagos special status has more or less been taken over by events. Lagos is a state, and as a state, it's still home to different people with different backgrounds, from different tribes, and it's thriving. I think it's fair to say that Lagos is probably the most prosperous state in the country. And it's just a question of its continuing with good governance and improving the strides they have made. Once again, let's go back to the past. We had what we used to call the House of Chiefs, wasn't it? And in those House of Chiefs, many of the members of the House of Chiefs were people, were traditional rulers, chiefs from different backgrounds, and they had a say in the running of the affairs of state. It's like it was more or less akin to the House of Lords. So it wasn't necessarily the chamber whereby which the activities of day-to-day governance took place, but they could always refer issues to them. And I think that if we change our structure of governance, and if, that's a big if, then yes, we can have something like that. We can have a second chamber, which is more or less advisory in nature, similar to the House of Lords, whereby which we will have obas and chiefs and people of influence who will be able to advise government from day to day from the experiences and the way forward, but not necessarily binding. I think that's important. Their decisions won't necessarily be binding on us, but at least they'll be able to share their views and experiences with the people. That's a big issue. I was commissioner for youth in Osun about 10 years ago under Rauf Aregbesola, and it was an issue we took quite seriously. In Osun State, we had quite a number of youths who were unemployed, and the governor thought, what can I possibly do to give them something to do, to keep them employed? So he created what we call the Osun State Youth Empowerment Scheme. Now, under the State Youth Empowerment Scheme, unemployed youths were given particular tasks in state. Help us sweep the roads. Some were part-time lecturers. Some were doing all sorts of things. They were given a stipend. It wasn't a full-blown salary. Well, the salary, although the stipend was enough to keep them to be able to buy things, to be able to buy themselves drinks and food, and kept them occupied until they could find themselves a job. And I think the federal government could follow that kind of scheme, set up a youth empowerment scheme whereby which unemployed youths are given things to do. There's so many things that need to be done in Nigeria. There's so many gaps whereby which the youths can help do that. In the interim, while they find themselves something more gainful or something more permanent. So it's a question, it's for government to do. It's for government to think of a way of helping out the youths. And of course, there should be partnerships, a partnership between the government and private enterprise to try and encourage them to take on more of our youths, and not necessarily those who have schooled abroad, who they think are probably the best in terms of employment. No, we have many here who can do a good job as well. sustaining democracy is about discipline. It's about the people being disciplined. It's about those who rule us being disciplined. I started out by telling you that this is the longest government we've had. It's the longest republic we've had. We've had democracy now since 1999, 26 years. If you go back to the days of independence, there's been no republic that has been this long. So it shows that the people have embraced democracy. They've come to it's part of us now. They've come to enjoy it. Yes, there are hiccups in terms of the fact that we could do a lot better in terms of how we implement things. But in terms of the people yearning for democracy and imbibing it, I think we've done very well. And what we just need to do is just to try and perfect it. One of the ways, like I said much earlier, is to perhaps take a second look at the Constitution, see where areas where we can improve, and try and make people happy, and at the same time reduce the cost of governance. But I don't think democracy is going anywhere. I think it's here to stay.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the outer marina through Akpombo early into the Adeniji Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
In 1957, just a greenhorn leaving school and looking for a job, going into broadcasting was something that I dreamt of. But that's only meant going into radio, because my old school, Holy Child College, still on the same site in Obalende, 2 streets away from the old NBC. I still can't forgive whoever changed the name to something else that is being called now FRCN. Because if the BBC remains BBC 100 years after the founding fathers, dreamt of starting television, radio from, all the war years and learning a bit from America. It all started from America.
because we were taught about all this. Every time they took us from school to take part in, you know, schools debates on radio, we just walked across. It's all in Obalende and Ikoyi, Balende/Ikoyi. So I dreamt of doing something along the line. And then one of my teachers left us high and dry. He went to be a newsreader on radio. Marie Tabio, who later became Mrs. Irikefe. Then we had people like Tom Adedoyin and Souq. We used to listen to them on radio on the old, you wouldn't know anything about that now, the rediffusion. It was just, you know, a little box in your home. And everybody looked forward to either listening to the 7 o'clock news in the morning or 6 o'clock or 7 in the evening. So that was all really all I had to do with broadcasting. And who was going to take me there was another matter altogether. Who would take you, little 16, 17-year-old girl, into broadcasting? But one had been bitten by the bug then. So, and only God knows where whatever dream you had was going to lead to. We read poetry, we did radio show, stage shows in school. Catholic schools were very good for that. And my old school, just celebrating 150 years of its existence, just down the road from here on Broad Street. The nuns, they were all white nuns. No Nigerian nuns at the time that we were growing up. So all the dream they had, this kind of dream that we have now, going to England. But they were coming here to teach us. So I had learnt a lot of poetry. I had taken part in Festival of Arts, and I had gone to the biggest hall we had then was at King's College, which is also down the road. Means of transportation was your SS foot. No BRT, no bicycles or whatever. So we did it all just walking around and learning from our teachers. And of course, our mentors were the nuns, like I said. So in my wildest dream, there was no way that I was thinking of going into anything like broadcasting. That is going back to answer your question. But they had a lot of plans for the girl child. And not along the religious lines now. But actually, they came to actually engender this whole idea of pushing the girl child forward. And not just me, a lot of us. People like Mrs. Francesca Emmanuel, they also went through the whole gamut of all this dream that I'm talking about. Television itself was brand new in the world. I have to talk about radio because that was what I knew as a child. But television, when it started, we didn't even know. Maybe in America, and then it went to Australia, and then to France. No. France came after Nigeria. You wouldn't believe that, would you? That we were number 6. America, Britain, Germany, Australia, one other country, and coming now home to Nigeria, where you cannot help but give a lot of credit to the dreams of people like late Chief Obafemi Awolowo and one of his ministers then, Chief Anthony Enahoro. So that's how I believe this whole package was placed on their laps and sold to Nigeria, to the Western Nigeria government. On the radar were lots of other people like me who had dreams about becoming Miss Nigeria. So maybe that will now give you a little background about how I took part in the Miss Nigeria pageant
Western Nigeria and I became Miss Western Nigeria, somebody must have fine-tuned some little knot somewhere and said, okay, you probably might be able to deliver. Because you are being interviewed when you go before the panel of judges. And somebody must have said, okay, that's a good material, you can come and take part in this. Before then, we had other people, Anike Agbaje Williams, Oliola Souq, who were working on radio. My dream was to work in radio, but then I missed that. And I was nursing, that dream of still going to radio. Never knew what television was all about. So maybe that answers your question, I'm not sure. But I took part in the Miss Western Nigeria pageant and I won. Took part in the Miss Nigeria contest and came second. So that meant that I didn't win. And if one of the, maybe the prize was to go on TV, it wasn't even there. It wasn't written into the, program that whoever did this, but the person was going to go to England. And so Helena Yemeluna, who won that contest, went to London and fulfilled her own dream. But I was still biting my nails, waiting for when I'll be able to get a job. There were other things that girls could do. It could be a nurse, it could be a teacher, it could be an assistant, a dental assistant. All those were things that young ladies, can, fulfill their dreams along those lines. They're still there. You still have young ladies. Mrs. Muritala Muhammad, the first time I met her, she was a dental assistant. Little did we know that her husband was going to be the head of state and she would be first. So you see, lots of things were there for the young girl who wanted to learn, who had the talent, and who wanted to perform, and who wanted to work hard. But now I don't know if girls want to work hard. All they want is, the table to be set, and then they come and, partake of whatever is there. It wasn't too difficult at the time that I was picked as one of the people to come and appear on WNTV. The audition was actually carried out before my time. I got involved in so many other things, trying to get a job, something to secure, something, to alleviate poverty. There was not too much poverty in Nigeria at the time because people could still eke a living for themselves and, get by in society. But I was lucky that I had an aunt who was a nurse in the hospital in Ibadan, UCH in Ibadan. And she was married to an Englishman, and the man's friend happened to have been the man, Mr. Mathers, who was brought as one of the technical partners to WNTV. So we met at a dinner party, and just as you and I are chatting, I was only 18 plus. I was 17 when I took part in the pageant. So by this time, I was growing up, and I thought I was a big girl. So I opened my mouth, and I said a few things. And the man looked at me and said, how come you are not speaking with a Nigerian accent? And I didn't know what he meant because we were taught at St. Mary's to deliver whatever lines we were given to deliver. The Festival of Arts, I came second after an English boy from Corona School. And I was given a beating for coming second. Not because I didn't perform well, but because I forgot to curtsy. And one of the judges, I think, who was then Mrs. Abayomi, Lady Abayomi, said that I delivered my lines very well. So I was the Lord of Tartary. I would do this and that and the other. So I came second. And when I got back to the school, the nun, Sister Marieta, said, you were not paying attention. So whatever you do in life, you have to be consistent. You have to perform well. The way we're trying to do now, the way we're trying to project your voice and whatever it is you have to offer with a lot of humility, not, trying to show off or to project your own image, or whatever message you have to deliver, you have to make sure that
It is well delivered. The following year, St. Mary's Convent School, which is my old school, which is 150 years old in existence, went to the same King's College Hall, and we beat a lot of secondary schools. We came first. Pied Piper of Hamelin. Have you ever heard of that poetry? Pied Piper of Hamelin was about someone who wanted to get rid of all the rats in Europe. And all he did was to play the pipe. So that is what we were more or less doing. That's what you and I are being a Pied Piper, trying to get off all the ills in society. That's the main job of a broadcaster. There's so many things happening in the country, and it's only TV and radio that binds the country together. If the country falls apart tomorrow, we will rely on someone from radio or from television to make the announcement, to introduce the head of state who had just won the election or the one who had just taken over. It's a huge responsibility. At that age, at 19, we had to introduce people like Chief Obafemi Awolowo on TV. We had to introduce people like Akintola, Oladoke Akintola, as the premier. And when everything broke down and it all went into smithereens, they brought in Chief Majekodumi as the administrator of the Western region. All this happening before our eyes. There were no other stations in the country except WNTV. And we were there, so we learned quite a lot. In fact, I believe that the whole country revolves around broadcasting. And if you are part of that organization, how would you feel at my age, at 80-something? As young people, perhaps you don't know all this history that I'm telling you about. It's a long, long story. But when you sit down, you have to put it all into perspective. You see that, well, some people are actually meant to be in different positions. Some people are meant to be doctors. Some people are meant to be nurses. But those of us that are in broadcasting, it's a huge responsibility. It's a passion. Something. Sometimes you don't even know how you got there in the first place. Or somebody may have discovered you. It's like being in Hollywood in those days. Someone has to develop. So you have the talent, the latent talent, and then somebody will discover you. So that's how I was discovered by Mr. Mathers at a dinner. I was put in that place because I had won the Miss Western Nigeria contest. If I hadn't done that, I probably would be somewhere in the kitchen washing plates, washing all the dishes. So there you are, if that answers your question. Well, there's no one that actually picks someone and puts you plonk without... I mean, of course, if you don't have any experience on the job, you have no business being there in the first place. But if I had taken part in Pied Piper of Hamelin towns in Brunswick, I was only 13. By a famous Hanover city, I was speaking like an English person. When I was only a Nigerian, little girl, being nurtured, by my mother, who was a seamstress, how would you ever get there? But you already have that background, that solid background on the rock, as it were. So, by the time I was ready to go on TV, I had learnt from all the other, people that I mentioned their names earlier, like Anike Agbaje Williams. And I wouldn't say it was easy, because you always have that, butterfly fluttering in front of the camera or wherever. I think I took to television like I was meant to be there, with all humility. If I had been groomed by all these nuns that I have mentioned their names. You know, they came to Nigeria to serve the people. They were not earning salaries, you know. To become a nun, you have to take the oath of obedience, chastity, poverty, and all that. So you're not earning a salary. But whoever is there now is thinking of how much money he's going to get from whatever take comes from here, there, and yonder. So they taught us well. And nobody said you're going to go and appear on TV or you're going to be on radio. But just do what you're meant to do properly. With a lot of sense of responsibility and diligence. And that stands at the back of your mind. That goes everywhere with you, wherever you go in life. Even when I was nursing a sick child, my late son was a sick child. And I was meant to take part in Verdict 79 with my colleagues Kerry Ahmed and Adamu Aogi. They all came with me to the hospital, which is just next door here. And then we came back and mounted the podium and continued our business as if nothing was happening. He didn't die at the time, of course, but the job must go on. That is always there at the back of your mind. So my first night, I wouldn't say that I didn't have any jitters, you know, that I was not nervous. But I was able to deliver, and I think that was the staying power. That was what kept me going, because other people came on board. I was not the only one. All the members of the board had their own, you know, little nephews and nieces that they wanted to project on TV. They all came and they couldn't make it. But Anike and I